connecting to the real nerds is so easy. You can go to our website, realnerdspodcast.com. You can like us on Facebook. We have a Twitter account, @RealNerds. We also have Instagram. You can call us, 720-6nerds5. You want to email us? You can do that too, realnerds@gmail.com. Thanks for listening, and enjoy the show.
Hello, everyone. I'm Giles.
I'm Emily.
And I'm Michelle.
And we're the Beyond the Trope podcast.
Every week, we delve into topics like pop culture, fiction writing, and other nerdy things.
We feature laid-back conversations, bad puns, and in-depth interviews with authors, comic creators, and more. Find our show at beyondthetrope.com.
Do you remember where you were when we elected a Sasquatch president?
How about when you learned Ben Franklin was a robot?
Or first heard Stalin's mixtape?
I'm Zach Powers.
I'm Brian Flynn, and we host The Revisionists.
Each episode, one person explains real history and another tells an alternate version.
And the winner becomes the truth. We let comics from Denver and around the country run wild through history.
It's an in-depth look at history, but with more Babadooks.
Check out The Revisionists, available every other Saturday.
Wherever you get podcasts and at revisionistpodcast.com.
Hey, this is Andre Gower from the Monster Squad, and you're listening to the Real Nerds Podcast.
Welcome to Real Nerds Podcast, unofficially the official podcast of Denver Comic Con 2018 and beyond. I am Ryan. With me is
Brad
and
James.
Zach. Oh, that was so
you no
pleasant.
longer know your own name.
It was so surprising. Who am I?
For those listening at home, they couldn't see, but I was pointing, and it looked like I was going to point at Zach, but then I did a loop-de-loop and pointed at James.
These are the jokes, kids.
They're all visual. No one can see it.
Hold on to your butts.
Yeah,
it's going to be a funny week.
The best way to do a podcast is visually.
Yes, exactly.
Every week on Real Nerds Podcast, we go see a new movie and we podcast our experience of the world. This week we went and saw Mother!
Ow! That was my ears!
Or as it's said in Looney Tune Land,
Mother. Oh.
Lowercase, but with an exclamation point, so it's Mother! No, that's a question mark.
Wilma?
Mother! I don't know, how would you...
Oh. Well, no, I don't know.
Is this movie...
It's Mother. It's Mother yelled, but disrespectfully.
Mother.
That's it!
Is it as divisive in the Real Nerds as it is in the general...
That's right. We're going to fight!
Do you know the last movie that got an F on Cinema Score besides Mother is?
Noah?
No, Killing Them Softly.
Yeah, killing.
Oh, we saw that movie.
We did. It was garbage.
Yeah, it wasn't great.
Stay tuned to the end of the show where we will tell you if you should see Mother or not, and then we'll spoil it because this movie will have spoilers.
Yeah.
Kind of the whole movie.
I don't know how to review the movie without spoiling it.
Yeah, I'm interested to see everybody's take on it.
Me too.
It's a very interesting film.
It is.
Yeah. Before we came on, I gave out a lot of my duplicate Blu-rays because Scream Factory is having
You're the best.
Some come out, except American Buffalo, which I finally brought for James.
Yeah.
I'm
so excited. Look, see these two guys sitting on this couch? That's the whole movie.
I know, it's also the box art, like the worst box art ever.
Oh, it's terrible. Yeah. They also sit on this bench in front of the store.
But I guess it's, trying to tell us what's going on. So Best Buy released these amazing Alex Ross recreations of scenes from Universal's classic monster films. And so I give those ones away. I was at Best Buy and I bought my Samsung 4K TV there about a month ago. And so I got the gift certificates in my queue. So I had $40 in gift certificates. And so I'm sitting there looking at them, and I took a picture, and I tweeted it out. I'm like, those are so nice. I'm like, but I don't really need them. But then as I was looking at them in person, I'm like, they're so cool. And when I was there, there's only like 2 copies of each one left. I was like, fuck it, who cares? So I bought them all. And then when I opened them, and the reason I was able to part those, even though how much I love the original artwork on them, is it's the exact same disc. Like, they literally just took that disc out and put it back in.
Aw.
So I'm not missing anything.
So you're paying money for 10.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
And beautiful art.
Yeah, that's true.
Hey,
That's true.
Hey, They're
Hey,
steel.
And Alex
It's
Ross
steel.
liked my tweet.
Oh, nice.
So it was the best $900 you ever spent.
Am I wrong in being bothered by the fact that I've spent $6,000 at Best Buy this year and I've gotten like $80 in?
You should, why do you
Gift
have so
card
little? It's only
things.
It's every $250.
I know.
Yeah, and
It
why do you
seems
spend
low.
money at Best Buy? You know how much Amazon dollars I have? I get 5% every time.
I bought a new camera and a new
Oh.
Ronin and
Oh, man, you bought all of that at Best Buy?
and then
it's
my
still...
parents' new TV and then their sound bar. And it's like,
And you still only got $80?
yeah, or like, yeah, maybe 100.
Yeah,
it
I'd
seems
be
really low
pissed.
compared to
That
if
is-
you got like
that
a dollar
seems low.
per.
Yeah. Are you an elite member?
Now I am.
Ow! God damn it!
Did you just bite him?
No, you pinched me.
Oh.
Not on purpose.
Okay. Don't bite your dad. Yeah, that's not I would be pissed. I'm pissed. I'm just pissed at Best Buy anyway. I'm going to be pissed at Best Buy
No,
for
Best
you.
Buy sucks. If they didn't get like exclusive stuff, I probably would never go there.
Yeah. I'm really glad I don't love the Steelbook so much, because if I did, I'd be pissed.
Oh no, buddy. Yeah. It's just those ones are so unique, and the movies. I mean, I don't really mind spending extra money on movies that I love. Movies that I hate, I wouldn't.
That noise you hear in the background is Zach and I, the benefactors of all of the Blu-rays you've gotten rid of, opening them up and properly taking out the junk inserts and the little
that I never take
barcode
out.
scanner thingies. Yeah.
And contrary to my normal mode, I actually got the least of the classic ones, but I did score on some various horror titles: Drag Me to Hell, Reanimator, The Strangers, Silent Night, Deadly Night, which includes a bonus feature called Santa's Stocking of Outrage. So I'll be watching that.
As soon as you pulled
Have
that
you
one
ever
out, I was
seen
like,
Silent Night, Deadly Night?
It's been a while.
It's pretty trashy.
Yeah, that's what
It's fun,
I
though.
remember.
It's fun.
But hey, I mean, I've come to the conclusion that my Blu-ray collection at this point is like whatever I get at this point, because
yeah.
income doesn't always dictate I get one a week.
Well, it's funny because I went through a phase where I was buying the best stuff I could because I had bought so much so many Blu-rays for $1 at Tradesmart back in the day that I genuinely felt like my Blu-ray collection was no longer representative of what I liked. It was just what I could get us on sale.
Yeah.
And so that's when I started going through that thing where I was just buying any movie that I had never seen before that I knew was great, like Color Purple or something like that. I was like, I don't care. I'm just going to buy it on Amazon. I need to bring the overall quality score of my Blu-ray collection up as quickly as possible.
I'm pretty varied. I mean, I've been
Yeah.
lucky that the ARC that I work at gets pretty good titles in,
Yeah.
coming through the donation area. So
That's just when people drum off I don't need this Blu-ray anymore.
and I'm like, you wanted to get rid of Tron and Tron Legacy 2-pack?
I don't rent films. I just buy them and throw them in the garbage.
Or I stream them because streaming's never going to go anywhere.
Like your impression.
You say
of rich
that.
people in Highlands Ranch.
Genuinely,
Spot on. I live there.
Thank you, Brad.
So Highlands Ranch sounds like the East Coast, like upper crusty.
Oh,
like
pretty
New
much.
England,
I mean,
New
Yeah.
Englanders.
it's populated by people who moved from there. So,
I came here to be a cowboy.
Oh,
but I don't actually want to live that lifestyle. I just want to pretend that I do.
I like going to the clubhouse and
I
just
like
looking
wearing
at the
Western
mountain.
boots, but I don't like the idea of dirt. On
Wait,
them.
that's me.
Except you like dirt on them. You go
I do
and-
like dirt on
Yeah,
the
you-
yeah.
you're not-
I'd
so
say
you're
you
not
do real stuff with them.
Yeah. Yes, I do. That's true.
Every once in a while on Real Nerds, we get fan mail. Does it still count if it's from one of our nerds? This week's fan mail is from Henry.
Fan mail.
He's just it's Henry, the pretentious one. We have missed Henry. He'd have been good to have
Yeah.
on this episode.
He would have.
Do you think he likes that we include him in our group texts about what we're doing?
I love doing it because then when we talked about the movie this week and he was guessing on who was going to like it, it made me bizarrely more excited to see the film because I was like, man, if Henry, I gotta know why Henry's saying what he's saying.
Yeah.
Sometimes I feel like he feels excluded because his movie taste is so different from any of us.
Yeah, shitty.
That I like that I like what little correspondence we can give him to
Yeah,
make him feel like a part of the team.
absolutely.
I know we rag on him a lot, but I think he's very valuable.
Oh, no, absolutely.
Oh,
Yeah, he's
Yeah.
an essential part.
I miss his haircut.
And a sexy voice.
Oh yeah.
He just wants to give us an update on a few things. Firstly, if you didn't see the post online, Art House Asshole returned briefly in October with a few films that have been getting traction on the festival circuit recently. If you want a list of the 4 films, you can find it on the Facebook page, Real Nerds Podcast on Facebook. I also will try to attend a few panels with filmmakers like Richard Linklater and Hong Sang-soo. If I'm able to attend those, I'll write a review of what they had to say, if they say anything interesting. So expect those articles to come out in around October.
If they don't, I'm glad I wasn't there.
Secondly, if you remember earlier this year, we had a discussion on the podcast about Baby Driver and how I thought I saw an animated character for a fraction of a second playing the news anchor. I wasn't positive, but I thought I saw it. Well, this week, Baby Driver was released on digital, and I looked again, and now that I have the ability to pause, and I was right! Included a screenshot of only appears for around 5 frames. If you're curious, here it is. I just thought it was kind of interesting. Anyways, I have to get back to being a disappointment.
Aww.
I hope you guys enjoy the film you're watching this week.
That's
yeah, there's a picture of like a CGI news guy
on
from Baby Driver.
Weird.
So Google search animated news guy.
Wow.
From Baby Driver. Thanks, Henry.
That's so weird.
It's funny and awesome.
It is.
Yeah, I don't know why that's in there.
Well, I don't know, because if I was cool like Edgar Wright, I would do shit like that in my movies. Because why not?
Oh, of course.
People would notice.
Yeah, you might as well.
Yeah, this is what's playing at the Alamo Drafthouse this week.
Hello.
Hi, I'm Kevin Smith.
Hi, I'm Leonard Maltin.
Hi, I'm Mark Hamill.
Hi, I'm Elijah Wood.
This is Seth Rogen.
I'm Christopher Mintz-Plasse.
I'm Ron Starr.
Welcome to the Alamo Drafthouse.
Oh, did you do the bumper with the Georgie kid?
No, we didn't get it.
It's pretty great. He's like the little Georgie boy from It's like, you'll float too! You'll float too! If you like talk and you're like, oh my God. Anyways.
No, that's not the one we got.
We start on Wednesday since it's Monday. Geeks Who Drink is going to be at the Littleton Alamo Drafthouse. Kingsman, The Gold Circle with a live stream Q&A. The Big Lebowski and Pulp Fiction are also playing at Littleton.
Nice.
Sloan's Lake is going to have Film Still Presents Contemporary Color.
Okay.
And Demon Seed. Barfly has a laugh night on Earth. On Thursday, the Sloan's Lake Tattered Cover presents An Evening with Bruce Campbell in person. I'll be there.
Oh, shit. Oh, shit.
Yep, and you can also see the live stream at 6:05 if you weren't able to get in the theater.
Oh, that's cool.
People were asking, like, how'd you get in the theater so fast? I'm like, I don't get press releases from Alamo at all. Know when they go on sale.
Yeah.
So I'll be there.
I didn't cheat.
On Thursday. Oh, man, I forgot to ask if my wife's working. Fuck.
You'll find a way. Life finds a way, Ryan.
If you can't make it, I know someone very close to me that would totally eat that bullet for you.
Yeah. Better answer. Eat that bullet for you.
Mile High Roast presents Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure on Friday.
Why would you want to roast a classic like that?
That's all they do.
Serenity Movie Party at Sloan's Lake.
Hell yeah.
Linda Moyer's State Change.
Is that a movie?
And Total Recall.
Okay. I really love Len Wiseman, and that movie is an underrated entry into his catalog.
Yeah, and that's what's playing at the Alamo Drafthouse this week.
Be like, yeah, I totally love Colin Farrell.
You should try to go see Bruce Campbell. Oh wait, you can. It's sold out.
You
I think the live stream.
The live stream you can, and if you buy the live stream, you do get an autographed copy of his book.
Oh, cool.
Just not personalized.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
So the personalized is a meet and greet.
Wow.
I have a plan for Mr. Campbell, and he might tell me to go fuck myself.
Wait. Are you going to kill him?
No. I'm going to kiss
tell
him.
Me
okay.
You're going to do, hi, this is Bruce Campbell, and you're listening to Real Nerds Podcast.
Oh, yeah. I'm going to see. I'm going to preface it to say that I said, I know you don't know me, and I'm sure you get this all the time, but we did an interview with Timothy Quill, and he's my friend on Facebook, and I don't normally name drop Mr. Campbell.
But seriously.
But just so you know that we're legit.
Yeah.
And would you say, listen up, you primitive screwheads, this is Real Nerds Podcast. If not, you can tell me to go fuck myself.
I'll die forever.
And then he says, I heard about 5 of those words.
Brad, you went to the last time he was here, right? He was actually really nice.
Yeah.
When I had him sign my book, he said, hey, Ryan, how are you today? I said, good. He said, what do you do for a living? And we just had this conversation for 2 or 3 minutes.
I love you for a
It's
living.
a way more intimate setting.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be a little more chaotic at the Alamo.
I'm interested to see. But
which Alamo is
that? Sloan's Lake.
Oh, okay.
My goal, too, is they have a trivia, and I'm going to win that fucking thing.
Hell yeah.
and when I do, he's going to have to be next to me.
You have to love me now.
What's the prize?
I don't know. Hopefully, it's a hug.
Well, if it's a physical thing, like I don't know, like an extra book or something, ask to trade it out for that voice.
And he'll be like, no.
Take your book
and that's the
go.
thing. As I would understand, because he's actually kind of a big actor now.
Yeah.
And he's like, dude, I don't know you. Why would I put my name on this?
Right.
And so I...
Oh, but you're not really putting your name on it. You're not saying, I'm Bruce Campbell, and my favorite podcast is Real Nerds Podcast.
If he said that, I'd get a boner.
Sorry, Mr. Campbell.
And he'd be like, oh my God, where was that?
Please don't judge me.
Please hug me now.
Can I just live inside you?
But Brad can attest, the last time they had a trivia for Bruce Campbell stuff, I smoked everybody.
Yeah.
So I'm not too worried about it.
I don't think anyone is surprised.
But we'll see.
Cool.
Maybe there's another Bruce Campbell super fan there.
It turns out it's Sam Raimi himself.
I wouldn't care if I lost to Sam Raimi.
Ryan would just kill himself in
sir.
front of them.
Man,
Eat it,
another-
Frost.
Oh, that'd be great.
Be like, Sam Raimi, tell me to do something.
He's like,
Get out of here. I was directed by Sam Raimi.
Get out of here.
So
Yeah.
that'd be awesome.
Cool.
No, I'm really excited, and that totally I totally forgot.
Yeah.
I mean, I would have remembered because I have it like in my phone and the tickets on my phone, so I
Yeah.
I got an update, but that's awesome.
That's really cool.
And Bruce Campbell's lots of fun. If I should ask Elmo if I can record it. Oh, they probably won't let me.
Ask Steve.
there's nothing wrong with you just putting your cell phone out in front of your, like, on your table and just,
I should ask.
Oops, I pressed
Yeah,
the
you
voice
should
memo
absolutely
button.
ask permission.
Live streaming it. Yeah, I'll still ask though.
Yeah.
And they'll say, "Can I talk to Mr. Campbell?" Well, Steve will probably be there.
Hell yeah.
Why don't you should ask
Yes.
Alexandra.
We should
like
just-
if there's any like press.
We should just talk about this off
Engagements.
of the air, because there's definitely ways that we can do
I know.
things.
I say we're pretty.
We can absolutely take
like my
advantage
brain's
of all
actually
of the
starting to work
communications
now. I'm
we
like,
have.
wait a minute. Why am I trying to be all sneaky about this?
I don't know.
Welcome back
We
to
actually
Behind
know
the
people.
Scenes.
Yeah.
Every time I'm like,
Stop telling the listeners we can't get shit done. We can
I
absolutely
know. I'm like,
get
oh
this
man,
done.
what do I know? I'm like, actually, we can do shit.
Right? Yeah.
I mean, I did get Andre Gower from Monster Squad to do it, so I'm,
Yeah.
I can do it. I can do it.
It'll be
I'm
great.
not afraid. What's the worst he can say?
do it.
You know what Michael used to say? What's the worst they can say to me?
I'm the boss. I'm the boss. I'm the boss. I'm
Yeah.
the boss. I'm the boss.
This is the movies that are coming out on Blu-ray this week.
DVD releases and Blu-rays. It's a big week. It's a lot of shit this week, so we'll
Yeah,
get
there's
started.
one really cool movie.
Yeah, it's not this one, but there are 10 different versions of Wonder Woman that you can buy this week, depending on where you buy them.
Do you really dislike Wonder Woman that much?
It's okay. It's fine. There's another movie coming out this week that's way better than
So which
this.
Wonder Woman version is the most wonderful?
Yeah, there's a bunch of
I just
different
like hearing
versions.
him go,
It happens all the time.
The
when you're
writer
around.
does not like the jokes you write.
I know.
Yeah, so
Never
there's
said I was great.
there's a couple different 4K versions. There's like
See, Zach, you got to be like me and just throw tons of jokes out. Not all of them stick, but the ones that do are really funny.
I just want to see how many are sticky.
it's just shotgun humor.
Yep.
You can get a headband, you can get a statue, you can get a steel book. What do you want? Whatever you want with Wonder Woman on it, you can get it.
I want a dependable car. Can I get that with Wonder Woman?
No,
I want
you
the
can't.
4K because she looks like she's all pissed off and super hot in the picture. I'm like,
Yeah, that
yes.
was pretty good. The Big Sick is out on Blu-ray this week, which if you didn't get a chance to see The Big Sick, you should go see The Big Sick. I mean, you can't go, but you should go to your TV and rent it or buy it and then watch. Just watch The Big Sick. That movie is amazing.
Mm-hmm.
The Bad Batch is out on Blu-ray this week, which was that movie that somebody saw. Brad, you saw it?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's okay.
Yeah. All right. I'll probably rent it. Season 5 of Bates Motel is out this week, which means that also this week is Bates Motel, the complete series on Blu-ray, which has a really
That
pretty
show's
picture of what's her face on the front.
Vera Farmiga.
I won't spoil it, but
She's
season 4 and 5 are amazing.
Yeah. Oh man, I got to catch up on that show. I dropped off somewhere in like end of season 2, not
The
because it
show's-
was bad, just
no.
because there was a lot of TV at the time.
No,
you
the
know?
show's really good.
Yeah. I should just
But
buy
it-
this box set.
It slowly gets better and better. Like
Yeah.
the first season's pretty solid. Second season's great. Third one's really good.
Yeah.
Fourth one's amazing, and the finale is pretty amazing.
I heard they kind of rework the mythology a little bit by
A
the
little
end.
bit.
Yeah. Not too much, but just enough to make
It's-
it
it's great.
interesting. Yeah.
I do
That's
have
good. I'll
enough-
have to finish it up.
I have
I
enough-
have 3 seasons under my belt, so
I have enough Amazon points. I could just get it. Anyway, Friends, the complete series of Friends is on Blu-ray this week. Has this happened
Again,
before?
I have like the really nice like fold-out box
Yeah,
book
this
thing.
just looks like an addition.
They just like
I
put it all
wasn't
together.
sure if it had been done before.
Yeah.
So, season 5 of Arrow is out this week, so you can get it. This is one where
Stephen Amell.
he gets Michael Bay posed a lot, according to the cover. The first season of Lethal Weapon. Moving on. The Vietnam War from Ken Burns on the PBS is
Took 10 years to make, guys, so let's all pay attention to it this week. God damn it.
I've heard it's really amazing.
Yeah, I have the first.
Oh, he's
two,
a great documentarian.
I have the first 2 episodes recorded on DVR. I am so excited to sit down and watch them.
I'm sure that is a fascinating series of his. Close Encounters of the Third Kind has a couple of editions this week, mostly because there's a Blu-ray edition, both
4K, right?
Or sorry, a 4K edition, both a Steelbook and a just regular 4K edition.
Is it a Steelbook?
Yeah, there's a Best Buy Steelbook of. There's a Best Buy 4K Steelbook edition of Close Encounters of the Third Kind.
That movie's great.
I actually like the regular 4K cover a little bit better, but still pretty cool. Yeah, I should watch it again. It scared me a lot when I was a kid. Aliens are scary, man, and real.
Do they really show the aliens in Close Encounters?
Yeah, they do. At the end, they all the creepy little children
I'm just trying
come
to get
down.
him to watch it again.
I think he's
my
more
God.
afraid of mashed potatoes.
It's the
sculptures,
only
but-
thing I remember. That's the thing. I don't remember anything else that happens in that movie except for what's in like basically the trailer. Like the kid opens the door and then he disappears. The truck gets sucked up. I remember those scenes and the mashed potatoes. And I remember them climbing around the mountain. And then I just remember in vivid detail, shot for shot, the last 20 minutes of the movie.
Steven Spielberg is like the master of your nightmares.
Yeah, he is. Yeah. He's really good at trying to be really pleasant and enjoyable, but just scaring the shit out of me. Also on 4K this week is The Legend of Hercules, the Forgotten Hercules film from a few years ago. Conan the Barbarian, the Forgotten Conan movie from a few years ago. So you can check that out. September is getting released by Twilight Time, which is...
I'm supposed to buy this.
What?
I looked up the Close Encounters Steelbook, which
Yeah.
is coming out tomorrow. It just says coming soon, so I came in just like...
Oh, no. It's
what?
So, can I tell you how I got the... the Guardians? Because that morning, like at 6, because I'm already awake because I go to work, like I waited for... It doesn't show up till like the next that morning, so they can pull it off the shelf.
That's dumb.
No, it's Best Buy. They're stupid.
Starship Troopers is getting a 4K Blu-ray release this week.
With a really cool cover.
With a really cool arty cover. I mean, there's 2 different versions of it, but you can check
There's
it out.
some weird like catalog titles that have been coming out, like Van Helsing and
Yeah. Those are the ones I just read through where, like,
like last
Legend
week,
of
I'm like,
Hercules,
what?
and yeah, it's weird.
All right.
I skipped over Van Helsing last. Oh no, I talked about it because I told the story about taking my mom. Also there's a what looks like a CG movie from 2002 called Starship Troopers: Traitor of Mars.
The subtitle is a better title.
Traitor of Mars is pretty cool. Yeah.
I would totally make a Julius Caesar recreation, but with aliens on Mars, and call it Traitor of Mars.
Yeah. Second to last, and probably least, Steven Seagal returns with Cartels.
Shot in Russia.
Is it really?
His image on the cover makes it look like he had had 5 margaritas before doing that photo shoot.
He got really drunk. They took a photo of him laying on a couch, and then they photoshopped his head onto somebody else's body,
With a
awkwardly
gun.
holding a shotgun.
Yeah.
It looks awful.
It's Steven Seagal, guys.
Yeah. And then finally, I talked about this last week. Firefly: The Complete Series is getting a Blu-ray
really cool
re-release. Yeah, with like a cool book, and there's like some
character cards and stuff.
Yeah, there's
That's
character
pretty
cards
sweet.
in there, and like I'm hoping that it opens up. Maybe it doesn't. Let me click on the way the box's design looks like it's really cool. It's probably just a normal slipcover. No, I don't think it is. I think it opens like from the top the way that From the Earth to the Moon does, which is awesome. That's one of my favorite like box designs.
I
That's a
agree.
weird thing to have a favorite of.
Nope, it's not.
But yeah, no, I of course ordered it because I buy every version of Firefly and Serenity that they make. But
Serenity comes
yeah.
out in 4K, doesn't it?
Not this week. I didn't see it this week. I think it's in 2 weeks.
I can just imagine a really fucked up version of Misery with James and Joss Whedon.
Buy another copy. Yeah. So anyway, that's everything on Blu-ray this week. There were also a lot of, like you said, sort of some archive releases. That Twilight Time imprint is releasing a lot of just old, like, black and white, either sci-fi or horror movies that I've never heard of, or some westerns like Lawman. But it's just a bunch of stuff.
Twilight Time picks really weird, obscure titles. They have some big ones,
like American Buffalo.
Yeah, but that's what I mean. Like, we're like, could they only make 3,000 because who else is going to buy it?
Right. Exactly.
When it goes on sale for you.
Yeah. Anyway, that is the Blu-ray releases this week.
We also pay attention to the interwebs for real news.
It's real news.
All right.
Dude, did you see the picture of Alicia Vikander as, like, with the pickaxe?
Did you see the teaser? Did you see the teaser? Oh man, teaser is really good.
I just was listening to the It episode. You guys already talked about this.
Well, no.
we
did.
talked about a picture of her. This is the poster with her holding the pickaxe.
That's true. That's true.
And this is the teaser where she's like dodging stuff.
Yeah, she's like, ugh!
And she's like, no way. And the guy's like, look out.
At one point, she smacks a log and dies, just like she does in the video game, and falls into a river. And I was like, oh man, it's also going to be like, because the first video game they got in trouble because they like wanted to make you really feel bad for her and make you feel like when she got hurt, like she was really pushing through a lot of shit and getting hurt a lot. And so a lot of the audio was a lot of her being like, and it was like they got in a lot of criticism for it. And the movie looks like they're also going to just beat the shit out of this woman, which is not the reason I like it. I like her powering through the obstacles in front of her.
No, it's badass. Like the second game's pretty great too, but the first game is the first game I cared about Lara Croft.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Well, I mean, I liked Lara Croft before, but just because I liked solving puzzles and shooting dinosaurs.
Yeah, but I mean, like, you care about her as a character.
Yeah. It was the first time that they tried to make her almost Nathan Drake.
Yeah. Have you been playing the new Uncharted?
I beat it already.
Did you?
Yeah.
Fucker.
It's really good.
I know, it's great.
It's really good.
I actually care about freaking Chloe. I'm like,
I know. I even care about Nadine. Yeah. There's some moments later on where Chloe does some shit, and I was like, oh, Chloe.
I know. I think I'm halfway.
You miss
through
your dad.
Yeah.
It's really good. Yeah, and just a good, like, the gameplay in that one is pretty solid. It's cool because it's not as much story, so it's one that you could replay a lot quicker. Like, in the future, I could see a world where when I just want to get in and shoot some dudes in the face, I play that one because it's a lot easier to just jump into action. Whereas, like, with Uncharted 4, you jump in and there's, like, a lot of just Elena being pissed at you, which I love, but it's not necessarily me shooting dudes in the face. Anyway, speaking of sad things, everyone died this week. Harry Dean Stanton died, who
scared the hell out of some pigeons on his way out.
You will know him as the man in the chain room from Alien, and many other things. He was 91 years old, so good job.
Harold in Escape from New York.
And in, was it 16 Candles, the
father? He was the dad in 16 Candles, yeah.
He was in Rawhide back in the day, in Andy Griffith's show.
Yep. He was in a lot of TV in the 50s. Stanton worked his ass off starting in the Pasadena Playhouse back in the early 50s, and he was on a shit ton of shows. He lived with Jack Nicholson for 2 years after Nicholson's wife left him in the early days.
That's
First
sweet.
wife, not... Yeah.
That sucks. Just like that Jack Nicholson impression.
Yeah, I was going to be like, dude, you give me shit. But he also, like... Paris, Texas is the one that I'm seeing a lot of love for these days, which is good. Because he's really good in that movie. Because he kind of disappears into the role.
He plays the man who's sweeping up when in Avengers when the Hulk hits the ground really hard.
Yeah, and scared the shit out of some pigeons.
Yeah. Ex Atencio passed away this week at the ripe old age of 98 years old. He was a Disney animator and a theme park Imagineer. He's one of the people behind... he was behind Pinocchio, so you'll like that. He was also behind the Pirates of the Caribbean attraction. So, he died just in time for them to shit all over him.
If,
That was
Thank
so
you.
aggressive.
It's true.
That's
You're
close,
fucking it
somebody.
up, Disney.
It was really important to him that you could buy women.
If you want to read about him and the making of Pinocchio, there's a great book you can get it from the Disney Family Museum called Pinocchio, Making of an Animated Epic, and it's beautiful, and it's about 450 pages, and it has stories about him and
That's the one you have in your house, right? Yeah.
It's awesome.
I need to check that out.
Should. I'll let you borrow it.
All right, cool. I read the Friday the 13th book, so I like ones with pictures in them, Ryan.
It's a lot like that.
Yeah.
Okay, and then this next thing, I will preface that I've put maybe the most exciting news right after this, so don't worry, I'm going to bring us back up. The location manager for Narcos was found dead in Mexico this week, unfortunately.
Yeah, that was.
It sounds like he was shot just outside of Mexico or Mexico City.
It's been a weird year for crew members meeting untimely ends.
Yeah.
Or getting injured or whatever, but this is the most like horrific of them.
Yeah, it's pretty terrible.
It's like, I probably don't want to shoot Narcos season 4 in Mexico, guys.
Yeah,
you can make Colombia look like Mexico. It's not that hard.
Well, is Colombia better?
Probably not.
So because the first couple seasons take place in Colombia, but the show's moving toward Mexico. So they're trying to like capture that. But after this, I don't see how anybody's going to let them shoot there. On Netflix's end. Like, technically they could, but I think Netflix is going to put a stop to it.
It's obviously really sad news. He worked on Man on Fire and Apocalypto and, bigger than that, Elysium and Sicario, of all things, which is really awesome.
So he must be like a really good Central American scout or something.
Exactly, yeah. He worked on Fast and Furious, which also shot there. And Spectre, which shot there. So
have they updated that story at all? Like because when I first read it, they said they don't know what happened. They just saw the body.
they're still investigating.
Okay.
So yeah. But okay, I'm gonna bounce us right back up to the top. J.J. Abrams has directed Star Wars 9. Everybody, woo-hoo!
Brad looks like he has something to say. Negative.
No, I think it's good. I was just listening to your discussion of Colin Trevorrow's exit last week, and just Kathleen Kennedy's the gatekeeper, and she totally deserves it.
Sure.
But I still find it fault that they're hiring of auteur directors to
I don't think we denied it though.
What?
That was a problem, the auteur thing, where they keep hiring these people.
Ooh,
that
may have been something
because-
we talked about before the show.
Yeah.
I'm just saying it's there is some fault on her part for reaching out and then expecting them to kowtow to her they should because
I get what you're saying. Yeah,
she's in charge, but to expect Phil Lord and Chris Miller to it's not like they. I think that comment says something about they believe in their own hype. They had 3 really successful movies, the 2 Jump Streets and the Lego,
and the Cloudy.
And
the
you don't
Cloudy
hire
was-
them to do safe stuff.
No, absolutely.
So that's this just feels like they don't know how to play with the next generation of directors, so they're just going to play it safe and we know J.J. Abrams can make a Star Wars movie. Let's get out of the trilogy without risking anything.
Except Ryan Johnson doesn't support that. Ryan Johnson doesn't support that argument.
I think because he's so close to the finish line, he might have had to swallow a lot of I'm sure he wrote his script, and then I'm sure Kathleen Kennedy and everyone came in and told him do this, this, and this, and because he was already on board, I'm sure he played along. But that's a guy who seems like he wants to challenge the system and do new stuff. And everything I've seen from
it's called porgs.
But that your statement right there assumes that the system is wrong, and Kathleen Kennedy may not necessarily be wrong. Colin Trevorrow might have been wrong. His ideas for what he wanted to do may have not been the right direction for what all of these other people had been working.
Well, that's fine if your direction is to make a safe traditional Star Wars thing, but there's me who's gets excited that someone with a different vision is going to come in and shake things up.
Sure.
Because The Force Awakens is great, but it's really just a remake of A New Hope.
This is incorrect, but you sure?
Okay.
I just hate that argument. But
there's new stuff, but it's just so the strategy of making it familiar helped erase the ill will of the prequel movies.
Right.
But at the same time, I want someone to bring something new to the. So I don't know what the Last Jedi is going to look like yet. I don't know. It may be a fresh, totally new direction. But the fact that they dismiss Colin Trevorrow, which is fine because I didn't like anything but safety not guaranteed.
Safety not guaranteed, yeah.
But to not reach out to just going to J.J. Abrams says okay, we need to do this. We can't risk any more time or anything on another new person. It just feels like they just like to play safe too much, and I'm like,
well, but I have two arguments here. One is they have 2 years. Like, they just announced that the date moved a little, so it's December 20th, 2 years from now. So you kind of need someone who can do that. Like, you need someone that you can hand a huge project over with a really rough deadline and get it done correct, and like trust that they're going to have, like, that you're not going to fuck it up again, right? Like, when you switch directors, you kind of have to make sure that your second director is the safest choice you can go with, because you can't switch to a third. You know,
I don't know. Like, I know there's a lot of like contracts that are dependent on like the release date, like they announced that ahead of time, and they set that as the deadline, but they still moved it from the summer to winter, so it's not like it's a totally inflexible deadline. So, you know, they still could have pushed it to 2020.
And I will agree with you on Lord and Miller in that, you know, I think if you hire them and you're going to let them have the vision, like those guys are different than a Trevorrow. The other thing I would say is to support you that I don't think we said on the podcast last week, but we did talk about, might have been off air, was that I do agree it is a problem with the system, like with studios as a whole, that right now they're looking at younger directors who are maybe unproven on blockbusters as cheaper opportunities, and they're sort of hoping like, well, you know, maybe we'll get somebody with a great vision and this will blow up, you know? And then as a result, but then they want to take that guy and put him in a box, which those two things are kind of in conflict. And so I would agree with you, like, yeah, you got to know if you want to go with the cheap option of the guy who's unproven, that's great, but you got to know what you're doing. If you go with J.J. Abrams, you're going to spend a shit ton of money, and he's going to get you something really great that is definitely what you want and is definitely marketable, but you got to pay for it. And I think it's definitely an onus on them the onus is on them that they're picking these guys just because they're like, oh, this is an opportunity, you know?
And the only argument I would have, too, is you can't be that arrogant going into this situation and being like, this is how I want to make Star Wars. That's not going to work, because they already ran into the problem. Remember, Lord and Miller got in trouble, not because necessarily what they were doing, is how they were doing it. You know, they said all day for these expensive shots, and then they said, oh, they got one shot of the guy looking at the camera, then they had to reset and move the cameras around. And they're saying, you can't. It's just too much writing on this. And I mean, and that's why I'm interested to see Rian Johnson's take on it, because he's someone with a definite voice that's way different than J.J. Abrams.
Yeah.
With influences, though.
And apparently that's what, from all rumblings from people, like, because I guess the movie's complete at this point.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And there people who are, like,
at least close enough,
letting us know enough that we need to know is that it's a very different Star Wars movie.
And that's good.
But it doesn't.
Hopefully it is.
Not like drastically, but this is just what I heard on a couple Slash Film casts, like their new Daily Show. Is just like they're saying it's just like some people aren't digging it, and a lot of people are, but some people aren't digging it. So,
and that's fine. But you know, but Brad's also right too, because every once in a while you get someone like my boy Sam Raimi, who comes from very small pictures, and then like, well, here's $200 million to make Spider-Man.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
and he not only made a studio film, which they wanted, but he is in that movie big time.
Oh, yeah.
So as someone like Amy Pascal, I think actually let Sam Raimi be Sam Raimi.
Mm-hmm.
That was the beginning of like the superhero boom, or Renaissance, or whatever. So like he was in a unique position to, like, you know, he probably didn't have a ton of oversight. But I'm sure by the second one, he did great, so we'll let you do what you want to do. But by the third one,
he's already sick of him.
Yeah,
I mean, he's pretty. There's a great Nerdist podcast with Sam Raimi where he talks about it, where he doesn't really like badmouth anybody, but he said he was tired.
Yeah.
You know,
that's why he works in his garden now.
Yeah, I would.
But that him being tired is a lot of the fighting with the studio and figuring out how you work this stuff out, and that is unfortunately part of the job, I think. You know, like if you're J.J. Abrams is not some guy who goes in and, I mean, maybe at this point he is, because it's partially his studio in some cases. But especially early on, right? If you're talking Mission Impossible 3, he's not necessarily somebody who goes in and doesn't have to take notes from people and doesn't have to, you know, make compromises and stuff like that. Like that ability to work as a team and listen to other people is not only like an important part of the job, it's an important part of the creative process, because when you don't have to do that, and you're George Lucas, you make shit films because no one says no to you, right? Like, you need those people who have that experience, who look at something you're doing and going, ooh.
It's a
like,
team effort.
Yeah. And so I would agree with you. We were probably too harsh, probably just because I really don't like the guy. Like, you know, when I don't like the movies that you put out and then I hear that you're kind of an asshole and people don't like you. And those statements were pretty damning from that source. I mean, that wasn't like, yeah, you know, differing opinions or whatever, right? Like, this isn't a mutual parting of ways like a Marvel and Edgar Wright where both sides speak very nicely of each other for the most part, and it's just like, well, I was in early, I had a cool idea, and by the time I got around to making my movie, their vision of the future was different than mine. You know, that I don't know.
I feel like my anger with it wasn't stemmed towards Trevorrow's behavior because that's whatever, but it was the reaction to all this news with people because like now there's a petition to like there's a stupid petition to get JJ fired from Star Wars 9.
And I bet Kathleen Kennedy has that in her office and she wipes her ass with it.
Exactly. But like because again my
how's that for visual?
I'm gonna essentially double down on what I said last week. Is it's like you don't understand what you're talking about because you're looking at it from one side of a two-word theory, film business. You are looking at the film side. That's wonderful. I support you on that. You are not looking at the business side either.
Has Abrams done anything like since Force Awakens?
Nope.
Produce some TV shows?
Yeah. I mean, he's always working, but as far as directing,
and the thing
no.
is, Abrams is awesome.
Yeah. I'm not like.
Oh yeah, no.
It's still a good choice.
I wanted
I'm just like.
Yeah.
I wanted to make the joke of like, how many times does the petition mention lens flares? And if so, that's how little I take it seriously.
It's mostly like this is just New Hope Reborn nonsense. The same thing that I keep hearing from people who are actively trying to find fault with something that probably did get them enjoyment, but they don't want to lose their quote-unquote street cred, which doesn't exist, guys. You're not a badass.
That guy deserves a lot more credit for doing something that should have not been possible.
Yeah.
Right. In a Joss Whedon Avengers level way.
I know, but
he made a really good Star Wars movie.
The internet's full of seething anger.
Yeah.
Memorable movie from 2015.
Yeah. Really good.
What was my number 4?
But a good I mean, you're right, Brett.
I preferred a movie about a western in the snow.
We were likely, you know, it would be nice if people maybe vetted the people they hired a bit more before they hired them, and then all of this stuff went bad. But I'm sure that Kathleen Kennedy is not sitting there not taking ownership for the fact that like she just wasted 6 months or 10 months working with this guy and then has to throw it out the window and move a movie back.
Yeah.
You know,
she listens to our podcast for comfort.
I bet she'd really like to get to 2 Star Wars movies a year. So
it's fine. That's just like it's also just a little bit of a shame that like you have this opportunity to bring more people into the Star Wars universe, and then you're just like it's just a feeling of cold feet.
Sure.
Of like, you know, hey, we're really excited about bringing new visions because we've had George Lucas for 4 times.
Yeah.
And now they're like, we really like just having the same people do it.
Well, they are definitely struggling with some of that too, right? Like you look at I was actually watching Rogue One some last night before I went to sleep, and liking it a lot more than I remembered. Not that I didn't like it, just like really enjoying it. But knowing what we know about how rocky the production of that movie was, like, I can understand them being pretty wary because they've got a certain vision in mind for what they want to do with the franchise, and they got to protect something that, I mean, to be honest, look at the fans of Star Wars. These people are vicious, and when you fuck it, when you get it pretty great, they are still pissed as all hell. So you would better make sure that the people you're choosing and the decisions you're making, because they need to get at least 5 movies under their belt. Maybe, or I'll say at least 3 movies under their belt before they make a stinker, right? Like if Han Solo comes out and it's shit, they're gonna have a rocky road ahead of them to make more Star Wars like other movies, especially if they're trying to like connect things and stuff like that, because they want to keep that giant bubble of money rolling forward. So, anyway, speaking of women who are awesome. Patty Jenkins is officially directing Wonder Woman 2. But I mean, we all knew it, but like they signed paperwork and announced things this week. So
good.
Whatever. Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Wonder Woman is still one of my favorite films of the year.
It was good. It was good. They did a good job.
That's great.
Explain to me why everyone is excited about Halloween this week, Ryan. Stop yelling in my ears.
Jamie Lee Curtis is returning to Halloween, which I guess they're pissing away H2O and Resurrection.
Oh no, Danger
Did she die in H2O?
She died in Resurrection.
Okay.
She's only in the first 15-20 minutes of
Something
Resurrection,
like that, yeah.
and it's a shitty death. It's a really shitty death because she deserved way better. But like it shocked me at first because I was like, "What's going on?" But then I remembered Reboot. That came they're ignoring.
Did you
continuity.
read Danny McBride's statement? It's taking place after Halloween 2.
Yeah, which is what they were saying from the get-go.
Yeah.
And they were even trying to do that.
Rob Zombie's Halloween 2?
No.
I'm so confused.
Well, and this is the problem with Halloween that I have. As much as I love this franchise, it has become a big choose-your-own-adventure book. where if you don't like some characters in other installments, you can just go back to the beginning and choose option C and go into option C. But now we got option D, and then there's that parallel universe that Rob created.
Well, what I always...
I'm not angry about it. Anytime Jamie wants to
I
come
think it's
back
great.
Yeah. And especially after Scream Queens. That's kind of my basis for it. Is like I liked watching her on Scream Queens.
You know, as interesting as with that picture of her, she looks great.
Oh,
I think she looks better now than she did when she was younger.
Dude, she's been damn hot her whole life.
She's such a beautiful woman, and so I'm sitting there. I'm like, oh, that's a badass picture, and the one they released with it, and Michael's behind her, and
and it's the original Michael. So I'm wondering if they're going to try to reconstruct the original mask to the nth degree, because Rob kind of did it in the remake, but he didn't. And part of the problem with Rob's is that his mask goes through aging and like decay by the end of the first and second film.
Actually, I think Michael Myers looks the best in the Rob Zombie movies. I think he kind of looks hokey in some of the Halloween sequels.
Well, I'm more referring to the mask.
Yeah, I think the mask.
It's and I agree. Like Rob's is the closest that we've gotten to that mask, and even Michael as an imposing figure, because he probably should be at this point.
Mm-hmm.
But the mask, like I'm wondering if they're going to try to like find the source mask and like kind of recreate it, because I think Dick Warlock owns the original from 2.
Probably, yeah. I'm interested too, because if Jamie Lee if this takes place 40 years after the first one, so that'd make Michael 60 something. So
we've been able to ignore age with Michael for a long time.
Geriatric Michael.
But I mean, there's 6-year-olds that can still rock it. But
yeah.
Look at Jamie Lee Curtis.
Oh, yeah, is she 60? I think
I don't know. I was just guessing.
But it's pretty close. I mean, she looks great.
Yeah.
Great. So good for her.
Yeah. So it'll be interesting. I mean, the addendum to that is that John Carpenter still wants to do the score.
Yeah.
Well,
they're involving him, and I think it's interesting that Danny McBride and Seth Gordon Green are the ones who are spearheading this. And
well, I mean, it's kind of it's not really, but it's kind of like when Jason Segel took on the Muppets. Well, you're like, oh, the guy who wrote Forgetting Sarah Marshall is going to put a bunch of penis jokes in the Muppets? No, he didn't. He did something very respectful.
Yeah.
I'm sure Danny McBride...
I've always said if I ever got famous, like in Hollywood as a director, and I had enough clout, I would always walk in there and say, okay, I want to direct Friday the 13th.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because that's what I want to do.
Yeah. And you'd know how to do it. And I think that they're big enough fans, and they've been able to convince John how to do it, that it gives me a lot of hope. I liked that Jason Blum was very blunt about his confirmation that it's going to come out. He's like, you could chop my head off, you could do this, you do that. I'm like, okay, settle down, Tiger.
He did that the day before they released that news, so that's pretty funny.
So yeah, I was like, okay, settle down, Tiger. We get it. You excited?
So good on Jamie Lee.
Yeah, so good on Jamie Lee.
Good for her.
We won't get any Sam Loomis though, but whatever. I'm just saying, resurrect his corpse, guys.
2 really interesting last pieces here. One is there was a study that came out this week where, let me see what the date was. I think it's like 10 years of data that they're working off of, I believe, showing that basically Rotten Tomatoes scores do not affect whether or not people go to see movies at the box office.
Yep.
Yeah. They're looking at data all the way back to the year 2000, and they aren't finding any correlation between whether or not a movie has a bad Rotten Tomatoes score and whether or not people actually go to the theater, which doesn't really surprise me that much.
No.
It shouldn't.
Yeah.
Because the studios seem to be like, they're in damage control mode at this point, and they're trying to find anything they can scapegoat.
Well, and some of it is like, I feel like a lot of people, I'm certainly one of them, but I watch a lot of movies. But I've also talked to people, and I think they they'll see a bad Rotten Tomatoes score and then think, oh man, I should go find out whether or not this movie's actually bad. Like, they see the marketing, and if they were already interested based on the marketing, they don't trust, they don't implicitly trust the Rotten Tomatoes score, much like almost any score, right?
Yeah.
So it doesn't really seem surprising to me. It's just, it's more just to sort of get a sense of, hey, how are people liking this as a whole?
Well, what I'll always say, too, is the reason Rotten Tomato scores don't matter is because the film critics are the ones who are saying, this is a great movie. Something like Get Out, or even It, that's like 97%, or Get Out, I think, is at 98.
Yeah.
One of the highest scores in Rotten Tomatoes. Is it going to get nominated for Best Picture? No, because they don't care either. They don't care what's the best reviewed film. It's just whatever their pretentious asses thinks the best film.
Right.
So I think people are the same way.
Yeah, and I think hopefully people also look at it and go, like, the movies that I actually enjoy seeing tend to be somewhere around a 70 or up. And that's a pretty wide range. I mean, at 70, it doesn't look like a great score, but the truth is, like, the first Star Trek movie, which is awesome, has the J.J. Abrams Star Trek movie. Not to just love J.J. Abrams. Don't stop glaring at me, Brad. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
I thought
I know you like that movie too.
I think the Abrams one, the first Abrams one, has a 90-something, doesn't it?
When it came out, it was around a 70. Because I remember using it as a reference at the time. But anyway, it doesn't matter. Like, movies like that, you still look at it and go, like, that movie's awesome, but it's because it's just fun, and, it's not for everybody, because it's...
I feel the same way about IMDb. If they get, like, a 6 to 7... It's a pretty good movie, because IMDb scores are based on tons of trolls.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. And then the very last thing is that Apple TV announced this week or they started selling 4K stuff on their service, and they're pricing
it streams at 4K?
Well, it's not streaming. You're buying it, right? So you're downloading the digital version.
Downloads and plays at 4K?
Well, it's supposed to be able to. Whether or not it really has the bit rate to do it, I don't know. But or is compressed, who knows? But
it's totally compressed.
I'm
such a
hold on.
prick.
Here's the interesting thing. So they're pricing this stuff near the same prices as the HD, and then if you had the HD version, they're automatically upgrading you to 4K, which is really nice. Because they're basically sort of future proofing their HD versions of movies, which is awesome. Like, if you have a collection on there, like, that was a pretty big win. My hope would be that Amazon does something relatively similar.
Yeah.
Pretty crazy. I think it's a relatively aggressive move to try and get people to stop buying discs. Not
happening.
Not going to happen to me.
We're all in denial.
But even though, like, by the time I'm 60, that collection is going to be ridiculous. Well, by the time I'm 60,
I know.
I'm not going to.
I always think about that, like my comic books and stuff. I'm like, man, in 30 years, that's going to be ridiculous.
Collection just keeps getting bigger. And then,
at that point, they're just going to jack the movies directly into your brain. Like, you're just going to plug it into the wall.
Well,
and
no.
Just, like, watch the movies in your head.
At that point, they're going to shrink me down to about 8 inches tall, and then my house is going to be way bigger.
I think you're just very.
I
think you're just very excited for downsizing.
I'm not. Speaking of movies we've been watching, Brad, what'd you watch this week?
So, this is the stuff we've been watching.
Well, I haven't been here for 2 weeks, so get ready.
Oh, motherfucker.
Buckle in,
do you want me to talk about
boneheads. You're going
what's
for a
going on around
ride.
town instead?
I was gone for like 3 weeks, and you know what I said last week? Nothing.
See, normally I just throw a lot of these out, but I actually watched some interesting things. Like,
oh, cool.
Did I talk about Terminator 2 in 3D?
No.
Yes, you did, I think.
With you?
I feel like you did, yeah.
Okay. Well, these guys weren't here. So.
Go ahead and do it again.
Was it like Terminator 2?
Huh?
Was it like Terminator 2?
It was exactly like Terminator 2. Can you believe it?
Yeah!
3D version was just, yeah. No, for a movie from 91 that wasn't shot in 3D, the post-conversion is pretty good.
Where'd you see it?
Did they replace all the guns with walkie-talkies?
Oh, like, even the future guns is crazy.
Where did you
Why
see
do they
it?
have walkie-talkies in the distant future? Don't they have iPhones? I saw it at the Highlands Ranch, AMC 24.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
I mean, not really, but
sure, it's probably gone right now. I would have.
Oh yeah, I think it was only out for a week.
Damn it!
But it was cool. I was surprised like how good that translated.
Neat.
Really immersive. I also, let's see. This list is so messy. I watched a bunch of stuff on Netflix. Heavyweights.
Yeah. Oh, cool!
I hadn't seen before. It's like a Ben Stiller.
Yeah. You've never seen it?
Mugvet. No, I haven't.
Wow. Oh man.
It's okay.
You just don't hate yourself enough to change.
Yeah, I feel like you kind of need.
But same thing.
I feel like you kind of need to be 11 like I was when that movie came out.
Yeah.
Because like we love it, but we saw it a long time ago.
Ben Stiller scared the shit out of me before I realized he was actually really funny.
Yeah,
because Heavyweights was the first thing I ever saw him in.
Yeah,
and then they even have him play like the older, like his dad or something. At the end, but he still looks like super young with like old makeup. Yeah, that movie's like a '90s Disney movie. That's all I can really say about it.
That's accurate.
And then I also watched because there's like a big Disney kick on the Netflix feed. Honey, We Shrunk Ourselves, which is the third Honey movie.
The direct-to-video one.
Yeah.
First direct-to-video one.
Where the effects are pretty not great.
Yeah.
Like, there's a lot of just green screen.
It's weird that, like... Well, I mean, it's direct-to-video, so the budget was probably cut significantly. Because that first one, like... The
first one, the effects are pretty...
They hold up enough.
Yeah.
You know, like... It's not like a masterpiece, but...
It at least feels like they're small in a, like...
The Big Cheerio was what I always remembered.
Yeah, or the ant.
Yeah.
In
Shrunk Ourselves, isn't the big one the chips and dip? when they get scooped into chip and dip?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. But the weird thing is, you know, the Netflix says like Super HD. This looked like a standard frame movie that they stretched out wide to fit. Yeah, so it's like there's really not like I guess if it was straight to video, they probably didn't have a widescreen version.
Probably shot in 4:3.
But it's out there somewhere. I don't know why.
Yeah.
And then the other weird thing is there's like a very young Mila Kunis as one of the little girls at the party.
No way!
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
I love her.
Okay. You go ahead and do that.
I bet she also told them that she was 18 when she was casting that.
Sure, yeah. I also watched the two other Brave Little Toaster movies.
What? You're on a weird kick.
The Goes to Mars and...
The Goes to Mars and what was the other one? I think it's Toaster to the Rescue or something.
Okay.
But yeah, those are just weird, and they're really for like 4-year-olds.
Yeah, those aren't really considered Disney movies. I think they picked those up.
Yeah, they're not. They're like some. I forget what.
Is it
house
Touchstone? Does that sound right?
I don't know if it's Touchstone. It's just like
some kind of
like it's not Bluth. It's not.
Yeah, it's like they picked them up and released them or something.
Yeah, but the second one's okay. Like the first one has like Phil Hartman's voice in it, and I think John Lovett's. But yeah, they jettisoned pretty much everybody for the second and third. And then the third one's just like the toaster goes to Mars because like appliances, like super advanced appliances from the 50s, like become so sentient, and then like they're gonna be destroyed because the company that makes the appliances realizes it makes more instead of making an appliance that does really well and like lasts a while, they make more money by making something that breaks. It's like the engineered life cycle that devices have. Like they intentionally break, so you have to be at a new one. I forget the term.
Blade Runner.
No,
in the movie.
But anyway, I'll think of it in a second.
All these super advanced like refrigerators are on Mars, and they suck up like the masters, which that's such a weird thing for the appliances to call like the kid who like grows up with them the master. Like I don't know, it just sounds so odd.
Yeah,
like they're super slaves. Yeah, so like the appliances suck up his baby because by the third one he's married and has a kid now. They take his baby and like it crosses the galaxy in like just a bubble, and then the appliances get in like a milk crate, and then they break the paddle fan off the ceiling, and like they use that to go all the way to Mars in like an hour.
You can do that, bro.
Yeah, there's like the calculator does some kind of weird math. And he realizes, like,
He's like,
yeah, this, and this.
If I turn it upside down, it says boobs.
Yeah.
And then they go to Mars.
And then they go to Mars and find out the appliances are super dicks, and they want to, like, destroy the Earth. The appliances have built a rocket that they're going to launch to Earth and kill everybody.
What?
And then, like, I don't know, the blanket convinces them not to do it. And then they have to get back, and then the toaster decides, like, the calculation doesn't work if I'm included, so I'll stay on Mars and all you can go back home.
Oh.
And there's like a fairy. No, it's a abandoned Christmas ornament angel. Among the appliances, this ornament angel has ended up on Mars. And she offers to sacrifice herself instead of the toaster. She's like, all she's ever wanted to do is go home and be on a Christmas tree. And then the toaster is like, okay, you go. you should achieve that dream, and I'll stay here because the toaster's super nice. But then
fuck my wife and kids.
I forget how the angel ends up in the trash can. So when the master and his wife come out, I'm like, oh, what's this doing in our trash can? And it's like,
It sounds like it's
how
all
did this
over
movie?
the place.
Like, this needs to be a how did this get made? Because I'm like, who reads the script and says yes, put animation talent on this and make it happen, and then puts it on VHS because it's straight to VHS in the 90s. I don't know.
Planned obsolescence. What did he just yell?
He's gonna wash his
fucking god.
Wash his mouth
My
out with
fucking
soap.
god.
Anyway,
I don't know where he learns that kind of language.
I don't
way
fucking
too much
know
about
either.
the Red Bull toaster. I also watched The Addams Family, the first one,
Cool.
which I don't think I've ever seen in its entirety.
Sure.
The first Addams Family?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. It's a good film.
But I wrote down. I had some point to make about it. It's fun seeing Christopher Lloyd in that, and
Oh yeah.
that's like Raul Julia's second to last movie credit. Damn it! There's something really interesting about that movie, and I just didn't write that down. I watched Sky High for the first time.
Hell yeah, that was good.
Yeah. The effects are.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's not what makes it enduring.
But I thought the end twist was pretty cool.
Yeah.
So I'm not gonna talk about that other than that was pretty cool move.
That movie's got some good people in it.
Yeah.
Kurt and Bruce in this.
It's Mary Elizabeth Winstead.
It's
a
kind
young
of like
Mary Elizabeth Winstead. Now.
cheesy
And all-
Disney superhero fare.
Yeah.
But
And a lot of the Red State kids too.
It's like a time when Disney would throw too much money at something that maybe didn't deserve it, and something good came out of it.
Home on the Range.
It's like if what's that thing they have now? The Descendants, right? That
Sure.
just looks
They're
very made
Disney
for
Channel
TV.
fare, yeah.
Yeah. Anyway.
I watched Kubo.
Kubo and the Two Strings.
Kubo and the Two beautiful
Yeah.
movie, but
Yeah.
I don't know, the story just I had a hard time getting through it.
Sure.
I had to watch it a couple times to pay attention, and
Yeah.
it seems like the beginning it seems like there's two movies going on. I don't know. I don't know how to explain it.
Okay. It's a gorgeous film, though. I really like it.
Let's see. I just do all the movie stuff. Kubo. I watched Batman Harley Quinn, the straight to DVD. It's okay. It's silly.
Yeah, that's what
I thought it was pretty fun. Actually,
Yeah.
I liked it. I think more than you did
Oh yeah.
because it was just goofy.
It's not the pedigree of but yeah, it's just goofy. I'm sure if you like Harley Quinn, it's tons of fun. But it's weird hearing a different voice out of her again.
Yeah.
And then there's that fart scene in the Batmobile.
I still think it's pretty funny. If you just ignored it,
It's
goes
funny.
away.
Ryan talked about that last week too.
Yeah, it's like a mod. It's got the humor of a Batman 66, but with the art style of the animated series. So it's hard to separate those two sometimes.
And pretty
for me.
risque,
I know.
I
she
love
bangs
the
Nightwing.
Yeah, I love the joke though when he's you've never did it with a supervillain before.
Yeah.
She has sex with what's his face in that Arkham movie too. Apparently,
Oh, Deadshot.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I think that's from the comics, so that's not a surprise. I also watched Brigsby Bear.
Oh, how'd you like it?
It's the beginning is so great, and then it quickly in the first 5 minutes becomes a movie that I didn't get from the advertisement.
Oh, okay.
The stuff with Mark Hamill. Has anyone else seen it?
No,
I haven't.
Yeah, the beginning's fantastic and imaginative, and Mark Hamill's there, and it feels like the 80s, and it's great. And then it becomes the aftermath of an abduction.
Okay. An alien abduction or stealing kids?
Stealing kids. So,
Okay,
right back.
Yeah, you're good.
I forget the character's name, but Mark Hamill and his wife abducted this kid 20 years ago and built a show for him to watch for I don't know why. He wanted to entertain this kid, and they're kind of kooky, so their vision of the universe is this weird explanation for it. They're trying to make him they're hoping the show can help him solve this mathematical problem that is like probably simple addition, but it's got like the story attached to it. So the movie makes you think it's like this huge mathematical thing that they're trying to fix.
Okay.
That's like going to help society, but it's really just like this over complicated, simple thing. And then the police figure out that he's been abducted. They finally find him, return him to his original family with Matt Walsh and everything. And so the rest of the movie is like them trying to adjust with like, hey, we want this normal kid, but he's grown up in a very specific reality that he doesn't know anything else, and he doesn't want to jettison it either. Like he wants to still live in the world of Brigsby Bear, and so there's still one episode that Mark Hamill didn't get to do, so he spends the rest of the movie trying to create the Brigsby Bear movie to be the last episode. So it becomes kind of like Be Kind, Rewind, where he's getting his friends together and just trying to complete this movie, and then dealing with his parents who wanted to be a normal kid, and by the end, they just kind of quickly accept, like, you know what, we've been pushing you to be like a sports-loving normal kid, and now we're just going to live with the fact that you want to make movies, because your ideas and your movie thing is actually pretty cool. So yeah,
I'm very confused.
Okay,
I'm
yeah.
following you. It sounds interesting. I'm wondering if the execution will work better for me than it did for you.
Yeah, like 80% of the movie is after the abduction and him trying to adjust to normal society.
What
Like
I
at one
kind of
point,
gathered from the reviews. So
yeah, and I liked the opening part where he was isolated in this bubble, believing this show is real. Yeah, and everything after that's awkward, like a little Lonely Island humor stuff here and there.
Sounds like fun though.
Like probably the funniest parts is they're trying to recreate this. Like part of the new story is that there's this device explodes, and everyone, he's been doing some safe stuff, but he actually builds the bomb that explodes. So they get in a ton of trouble for that, and yeah.
Cool. I'll have to check it out at some point.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
No, everything's fine.
Yeah, so it's okay. It's everyone's, a lot of the reviews are like best movie of the year, like it'll change your life, and I'm like, I want to see the beginning movie where doesn't.
My
get
life is
rescued.
the same.
Yeah, and it's super imaginative. Like there's parts in the middle that, there's like surreal recreations of like what he's thinking, like in a Gondry way, I guess, but not enough to keep me interested.
Sure.
Okay, and then TV. So,
God damn it.
You watched a TV? How was that?
I watched whole seasons of TV, which is
Just
considering how busy I've been.
Zach, do not distract him. Let him get through this.
Yeah, just stop commenting on things. Just let me get through it.
I'm just gonna stare at Brad while he talks.
I've watched all of what Netflix has available for He-Man and She-Ra. Like all
what
this.
is happening to you?
They don't have all. I think there's 3 or 4. They have one season of each, but they're like 72 episodes each.
You've got a wild hair up your ass. I don't know.
Yeah, well, those I just I play them and then half pay attention to while I'm
Sure,
working because the plots are all just ridiculous.
Yeah.
I also watched BoJack season 4, BoJack Horseman season 4.
Oh, okay, cool.
Which is such an interesting I think the first season was more funny, but by the 4th season it's so a dissection of depression and not fame, dealing with the loss of fame and trying to adjust to not having that attention anymore. And dealing with substance abuse and alcohol. It's a very
sad,
introspective show and very sad a lot of the time. And I think it's 10 episodes or something, but it's just, I remember the first season being so wacky, and the 3 and 4 have just been as BoJack Horseman detaches from society more and more as he becomes kind of more of an isolated asshole.
Yeah.
And meaner to people. It's it really, a lot of the episodes for this season really get inside, breaking down what makes him this way. And they even go into dissecting the problems of other ancillary, even his mom, his estranged mom, has an episode devoted to her aristocratic upbringing and how misogynist her father was, and how that has translated into her raising BoJack to be, the way he is. It's really, really thoughtful.
Huh.
And then I watched season 7 of Walking Dead, so I'm all caught up on that.
Is it the most? Okay, yeah.
That's about that was good. I'm not someone who read the comic book, so everything seems new to me. But
is that the one that was just on TV that actually has Negan in it, or is that the one where like at the end they were like Negan's coming, where he kills somebody or something?
That's the one where they're dealing with consequences of Negan running the show.
Oh,
so,
okay.
And that was like, I don't want to go too long with it, but like I'm satisfied with it.
Okay.
Like, and I'm, it ends with they're going to start a war with Negan, because they kind of get one up, like they get the best of him by the last episode, not without some casualties, but
sure,
because that girl is on Star Trek Discovery now, which I was like, oh, she's probably dead before this season's out. Yeah. So, but I want to know, like Negan's, like Jeffrey D. Morgan's portrayal of Negan. Like I haven't read the books, so I don't know how close he is with it, but he's definitely like an interesting character in the show.
My wife thinks he's like super sexy.
He can't be very close because you can't say fuck that many times on AMC.
Well, if you watch the Blu-rays,
he says
oh.
Well, yeah, I don't know if the Netflix version is what the Blu-ray gets, but
does he say fuck in it?
He says he doesn't say that. He doesn't say fuck, but he says a lot of risque stuff for like.
Oh, I'm sure.
I'm imagining myself watching this AMC.
Mm-hmm.
They just like dick and pussy and.
Oh, he says that. Yeah, on the Blu-ray he does. He says like fuck a lot,
and it's like a lot of gross things about like.
Yep, that's when I stopped reading the book.
Yeah. So that's cool, and then I wrote off. Is this the last thing? This is the last thing.
Oh, thank God.
I wrote off The Blacklist on season 3.
Oh yeah, I remember because you got me watching it, and then you told me it was bad, and I stopped watching it.
It was just like by season 3, they had this great female lead character who seemed like strong and independent, and by season 3, she's like back with her husband who was like leading a double life, and he was also a spy. And double-crossed her and, like, ruined her life. And then she went back to him because he actually loved her the whole time and just, like, didn't understand.
It was so unnecessary. That show was good, and they didn't need to do all that dumb shit.
Yeah, and then they have a kid together, and then, like, one of Red Reddington's help double-crosses him and extradites them out of his life so they can lead a life without Reddington's influence. And so at that point it became, and then her real dad, because the whole show has been teasing that Red Reddington is her father,
right,
for 4 seasons.
Yeah,
with like the most obvious shit of like, yeah, he's probably her dad
in an Arrested Development kind of way. Yes, maybe your father is here.
Yeah, but they still throw like ridiculous red herrings out there to the point where the end of season 3 ends with like there's this, I forget his name's, like Alexander or something. Some actual Russian guy is her father. So they go on this tear, and at that point, like he kidnaps her kid, or like her and Tom's kid. And then it's like the first, I don't know, 6 episodes of season 4 are globetrotting trying to rescue this kid. And like I'm totally disinterested. But then Red kills
everyone.
He kills Mr. Kaplan because she's the one who helped them get away from him in the first place, and he can't trust her anymore. And I'm just like, damn, that's cold. But I like understand like he's been pissed off before, but like she's been like an integral part to how he's able to do all the stuff he's able to do.
Okay.
And then by episode 10, holy shit, I'm back on board because
son of a bitch.
It builds this new arc after they solve the whole baby thing, get the baby rescued, whatever.
So they solve the baby.
Yeah, like it's just so like simple, trite, like in my like storylines, like the obvious thing to like get ratings and stuff.
Yeah, it's like season 4 of Alias.
Yeah. So Kaplan survives the shooting, her own execution, and then like they do so many things that make you forget about that when it comes back to bite him, it's like great.
Okay.
So.
Can I just start watching it then?
Yeah, I would say just jump in.
Okay, all right. I can just skip like a season and a half of the show.
Yeah, just know that Red solves the problem with the Russian dad.
Sure.
And in the season, he finally, well, they still in this season they finally answer that question instead of like dragging it out even more.
Okay.
But they still like leave it open for him. In the most annoying way, they still leave it open because it's under duress that he admits that he's her father.
Of course.
Yeah. So.
And it could have also been a fever dream. We can always change this. It's like comic books.
Yeah, like
it's fucking
the
dog
show
shit.
has the most cop-outs of anything I've ever watched.
And the worst character name ever, Red Reddington.
Well, it's Raymond Reddington,
It's-
but that's a mouthful, so they just call him Red.
They could just call him Red because his last name is Reddington. His first name could be Jack.
Jack Reddington.
Yeah.
Already better.
And I don't know. Like, they also do a bunch of episodes that like don't have the main cast. Like they go into the backstories of like Mr. Kaplan, like this like bottle episodes.
Yeah, that worked great for Lost.
Yeah. Explaining like who, like Katerina, like her mom as the Russian spy. Like you kind of get an insight of like what her deal is, because at the end of the season you kind of get a hint of why he has like kept the father secret from Elizabeth for so long. You kind of get closer to that little thing. I feel like because the list is a certain number of names, they probably had, like 24, like they were guaranteed 24 episodes a season. I think like this, like however many episodes exist within like 5 or 6 seasons, like they're in season 4, so they kind of know they have to be close to the end no matter like where they're going, to like fill out the list. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Anyway, halfway through season 4 becomes a great show again.
Cool.
So I'm interested. I'm back on for season 5. And the last thing is Cargan Sorrow won Best Prop at the 40-hour film festival film project. So
Which prop did it win for?
best use of a vinyl record, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What was it used for? Chopping off someone's dick?
Playing music?
Should have been. No, it's just the whole story revolves around the record, I guess. I don't know.
You did a really good job using it.
I don't know how these things are chosen. Like
no, you did better than most.
I wasn't asking
people.
why it was chosen. I was asking what it was used for.
Yeah, it was
We
used
played
for
music.
It's a device with an obscure song that
Guffin. Cool.
attracts hipsters.
Absolutely.
And then if you flip it over, it sends hipsters away from you.
Nice.
Yep.
So I guess that's the best use of it.
Great job, Brett.
The best thing you can do with a vinyl record in 48 hours is to just get rid of hipsters. Yeah.
Cool. Sounds good.
All
Zach?
right.
I only watched 3 things this week. First of which was Cardigan Sorrow.
Hey.
Dude, that's my favorite of your films thus far.
100%.
But I'm going to take it a step further. I think that it's the best one you'll ever make. No.
That's fair. I believe you.
No,
Time
what I like
to
about
die.
so like Brad's done films before where he dips his toe into the action ring and whatnot. What I liked about Cardigan Sorrow is that it's a very mellow film, like that I'm used to from you, if that makes sense.
No, it makes sense. It's
And-
the least weird one.
Well, weird's a relative term.
It's the
The
least
last
weird
one
film.
had Hitler's brain
That-
being absorbed into
I
Thunderbolt's
know, but
head
to me
and-
that's also entertaining. So
One
like,
time I watched a guy
this is-
put
I
drugs
think
up his butt.
I think in its own way, Cardigan Sorrow is just as weird because it does. I mean, like you guys haven't seen it yet, have you?
Oh yeah, I was there at the premiere.
Okay, so
I'm
I mean,
a good
like,
friend.
It's a hipster invasion. Like they invade a house like rodents, rodents in a house, and there's only one way to get rid of them, and it's through the record device. But I like the way it was. I love the way it was shot. It was like lit beautifully. And it kind of it actually like I want to counteract what you told me a couple weeks ago. I felt it kind of flowed like a Wes Anderson movie. It just wasn't staged like a Wes Anderson movie. But like the dialogue flow was there. The tone was there. It's just that
I think my criticism was like I didn't really plan the shots that way until afterwards.
Right.
Well, I really thought about like, oh yeah, I should have done this like Wes Anderson.
Yeah, and I mean, like coulda, woulda, shoulda, but like it still looked beautiful, and I think it's like the most grounded thing you've done in terms of if that's your definition of the weird versus.
I'd say it's
weird.
tame.
Yeah, it is. It's tame, but it's necessarily tame, and it's done with a purpose, and I actually enjoyed it.
It's mature. As we mature, the films mature with us.
Shut up. I mean, he's right. It probably is the most mature thing you've done. But however, like I do think that like Jason and John were able to do with the script was really fun. It was like a clever joke. I love how my favorites of your films tend to be a really good joke that has a great punchline at the end because you are working within that short frame construct. Short filmmaking is really hard. because you have to be able to tell an entire arc within a set amount of time. So
yeah, I mean, writing it, we almost had 2 storylines going, and like at 9 o'clock, I was like, we gotta jettison one of these.
Yeah,
it's way too much to cover.
Right,
in 6 minutes. So
but I totally dug it.
John and Jason were bummed because they said they got out hipstered because the other hipster movie won best.
Oh, the hashtag
writing.
one?
Yeah.
I mean,
it was good. It's just
it's good.
I thought it was funny that they felt like they're.
I think the CGI bear at the end was stupid, but whatever. That's just me. You could have done that easily with sound effects and been fine, but whatever. You got to be ambitious. But I mean, but they're not Stranger Studios, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah,
still a good film. Like I know the writer of the film, and because she went to film school with me, and she's very talented, and that script is very good. So I just didn't like the CGI bear. That's all. I don't think they're gonna kill me over that. But yeah, I rewatched Force Awakens again after JJ got announced to be our new director. Yeah, guys, it's gonna be fine. Just chill the fuck out. God, like everybody whining on the internet. It's fun. I love that fucking movie. I think this time, like, I was more focused on the newer characters and less on the legacy characters.
Yeah. Which
is strange for me to kind of switch into that mode. But I'm trying to do that for myself so that I can enjoy Last Jedi, because I have this feeling that, like, I mean, Luke's obviously our only legacy other than Leia, but I don't feel like we're going to get a lot of time with Leia.
Fuck Chewie, right?
Chewie.
Yeah, fuck Chewie.
R2?
C-3PO?
Do I have to list every one of them?
Yeah.
No,
Slice noodles.
It's because the new characters are interesting and obviously the main characters of the series. Like,
so it was just interesting to see it from there. But I also watched it with the commentary by JJ.
Oh yeah, it's good.
For the first time. That was fun.
Mm-hmm.
That was very fun.
What edition do you have?
I have the 3D collector's edition.
That's why I don't have the commentary.
Yeah. And I hadn't watched the behind the scenes, the secrets of the Force Awakens, so I watched that. That was pretty cool to get some insight on the whole buyout thing and whatnot. It's barely covered, but it was enough for me to kind of like wrap my head around. And then the last thing I watched was, so I as I usually describe, I get stuff from my work that's amazing. And guess what I got with all my vouchers that I had saved up at work?
Herpes?
The first season of Hogan's Heroes, which is better than herpes.
God, I hope
but
so.
barely. Doesn't burn as much.
Oh, yeah. If anybody doesn't know this. Yeah.
Was that a Holocaust joke?
I didn't even read that one.
Thank you, Brad. If only everyone else here is as sick as me and Brad.
So I'm going to clear this up,
terrible.
though. I'm going to clear this up, though, and ruin Ryan's joke. It's not a concentration camp, guys. It's a POW camp.
Yeah, because you can't say concentration camp.
I
That's
don't
not funny.
television, yeah.
I don't think that they had POW.
I haven't seen this many
camps.
ribs since Tony
World War
Roma's.
II?
Yeah, I think they just murdered everyone.
James.
Hey! Don't tell me about your history, man. I have my own facts. Okay.
Alternative
I have my own
facts?
facts.
Yes.
Anyway, go ahead. How's Hogan's Heroes?
Oh well, so like, it's weird. Like I had not watched it as thoroughly as I thought I had. I always thought they were trying to escape each episode. That's not their end game, and I think that's why I think this show is genius. Their job is to stay in the prison and sabotage the war effort from as far as they can, and help other prisoners who have an even more important mission that get sent to the camp. They have to get them out without breaking the Stalag 13 record of no escapes. And it doesn't hurt that they have two of the most inept Nazis on the planet running that camp. I mean, Clink is a glory hound, and Schultz is just in denial because he doesn't want to lose his job. So it's funny as fuck. Like, I was laughing my butt off. I think, and something weird is that there's always been a debate from stuff that I've watched of, like, you couldn't do Hogan's Heroes again today. And I don't think I have a strong enough argument yet for why that's wrong, but I still believe that you could do that concept, but you'd have to tread very lightly because, like, there's just certain things about that show that are very dated in terms of its humor, but also in terms of, like, how they approach certain elements. Like, the Schultz character is very fascinating because I don't think he's a Nazi. I think he's just a guy who has to hold down a job because he's got a shit ton of children to feed. It's weird. It's
go
strange.
ahead and step into this oven here. I have lots of children to feed.
Again, POW camp, not a concentration camp.
Oh yeah, it might be hot in there, but if you take off all your clothes, it works better.
I'm again, like this is like this again. They are.
My name is Schultz.
Hogan, please. Again, like I'm not defending
The SS stands for super serious.
I'm not defending Nazis here. I'm saying as characters, they are much more interesting than meets the eye on them. But at the end of the day, they are Nazis running a POW camp, so they still are your villain.
I'm really glad we got you to clarify you're not defending Nazis.
Yeah.
It's more than President Trump did.
Way to take a side.
That was topical.
That was the best joke you've made in weeks.
What years was that show on?
1965 to 1971.
So, can you imagine, like...
It's 20 years removed from the war, so it's like...
So it's okay that Nazis are funny now.
No, that's the thing. I don't know if it is.
45, 65?
45, 55, 65.
20 years, so that's like... It's weird
the
to
Iraqi
think that,
War.
Huh?
It's like the Iraqi War. Saddam's Funhouse.
Oh my God, raising a little terrorist there.
Did Kellen just call jihad?
Again, like I don't know. Like I don't know if you guys have ever watched the show. Like you watch the show, if you watch it within the context of when it was released, it is funny. But I understand why people are offended by the concept.
That's what I'm trying to wrap my head around, because like I'm like imagining like if I was watching it today, and like so World War II would have been like when I was just out of high school.
Mm-hmm.
Like that just seems so recent.
I know, and again, like, but again, it is taking it within context, and like again, I have a weak argument for why it could work today. I don't say it's strong.
Zach, funny is funny. It doesn't matter what is right or wrong.
That's part of the.
Oh, that was awesome. That was so good.
Well, you know,
man,
every once in a while.
We're funny.
I know.
Funny guys.
Who's on first, Ryan?
Oh. Anyway, yeah, Hogan's Heroes. You done?
No, but I think it's still a funny show. Probably not as funny as what ended up happening to Bob Crane, I guess, but whatever. Watch autofocus, guys. It's interesting.
Cool.
Yeah, that's all I watched this week.
Greg Kinnear, who was
Sweet.
in Briggsby Bear.
James?
Yeah, just a couple things. I started watching the new season of *Halt and Catch Fire* this week, and that show is good.
Lucky.
Yeah. I just always buy it on Amazon so that the episodes come out as they come out, you know. Oh, it is also funny. Last week I talked about how good Rick and Morty is this season, and then this last week's episode, we're recording this on Monday, so not last night's episode, but the week before, is maybe my least favorite episode ever. But still, that show is good as well. Got a chance to go see or to rent Tom Cruise's The Mummy, which I had missed this year.
Did you miss it?
That movie is not as good as Sahara. Shit. No, that's not what I meant. That movie's okay. It's got some fun stuff in it. It's kind of just a pile of like rejected Tom Cruise movie scenes that they sort of taped together and put a mummy in. It's not great. I really would like to see more of them. Like some of the universe they're setting up, I was like, okay, I want to see like them try to fight a creature from the Black Lagoon or something.
I think Bride of Frankenstein's the next one.
I want to see.
Oh, is it? Okay.
Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde be like Nick Fury and assemble a team of Universal Monster Avengers.
Yeah.
To fight the Nazis.
I don't love their version of Hyde. Like I like Russell Crowe's performance as Hyde, but I don't love like the CG and
we said that too. It's like, oh, he's like.
He's slightly...
He's pimply.
He's got acne.
His skin breaks out and he growls at you. Like, what Russell Crowe does is great. And honestly, I feel like if you hadn't done anything to him, it would have been fine. But then, like, the plot itself is so convoluted and weird, and I don't understand why.
I know, my 4K is sitting at home waiting to be watched.
Because I like
You're part of the problem.
Like, it was pleasant to me that Tom Cruise was playing, like, a bit of a rapscallion, like somebody you don't really like, and then he has to sort of prove himself. And even though it's like the most tame version of that it can be because it's Tom Cruise, like it was still like, oh, okay, this isn't just Tom Cruise in a Tom Cruise movie, you know?
Oh, let's not forget Jake Johnson.
Similar to
that's probably the weirdest part of the movie.
Yeah, the Jake Johnson stuff.
Why is he alive at the end?
Because he's like
American Werewolf in London is all it reminded
Off
me
screen,
of.
he made a deal to bring him back.
Yeah, he's like,
Thank you for bringing me back, but why are we here?
No, it's really easy. Hey, Tom Cruise, do you have any other friends? No? Then bring me back to life. Like, who's going to go on dumb adventures and call in airstrikes for you or whatever? I don't understand what his job is. Why couldn't he just be a thief? Why does he have to work for the military but then also be a thief?
He's a rogue, dude.
It's very bizarre.
He's part of the Rogue Nation.
It doesn't matter. Some stuff. Wow. Some stuff happened. It was okay.
He adheres to Ghost
This
Protocol.
impossible mission to resurrect Universal Monsters.
Are they still making the next one?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, they are.
Hopefully,
I don't think Kurtzman's going to be involved in shaping that universe anymore. But
I think they still will. Because they already have the cast, I think, and everything. I think everything's lining up, right?
To me, it's not a direct.
I think they're trying to still get Angelina Jolie on it. I don't know.
I'm interested.
It'd be cool.
To me, it's not a director issue. It's a script issue. Like, that script is just so full of nonsense you don't need.
Well, I'd say it's the same problem that DC had in Batman Superman. You're building a world that you don't need to build. They should have let the Mummy exist as the Mummy.
Yeah, because the premise of making Tom Cruise a super spoilers for the Mummy. The premise of, hey, by the end, Tom Cruise is a weird half god mummy thing with crazy make-out powers is pretty cool.
Well, I think too. Some of the horror scenes are really good. The scene where they're in like the moor and the mummy is like eating people, I think is really great.
Yeah, some of the swimming, some of the swimming zombie things are cool.
Yeah, they have ideas there. I don't
some
think
of
it's
the
a total
CG
waste.
is for some like the movie started and like as soon as they find her sarcophagus and they pull it up, and I'm watching this at home on a TV, so take it with a grain of salt, but. Like, that was maybe the first real element of CG in the movie, is they CG'd the sarcophagus getting pulled up in all the water, and I was like, why the fuck is this fake? Couldn't you afford, like, a
remember, it's not
sarcophagus?
water, it's mercury,
right?
No.
No, it's mercury.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, she's encased in mercury because it...
Oh, the Egyptians encased her in mercury?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
It's the only thing that'll hold the powers at bay.
Yeah.
Well, it looked super fake and weird. I don't know. Oh, I guess. Yeah. All right. That I just thought it was like water at first as I'm watching it. I'm like, why does this look terrible? So maybe that's why. Okay.
Like it's really shiny water.
Yeah, because then the rest of the CG was pretty okay. Well, like was pretty good.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, certainly better than like the Brendan Fraser movie CG, but the Brendan Fraser movie is fucking dope. Like, that movie has a beginning and a middle and an end and some action scenes that go between them. Like, it's pretty okay.
You're saying it's a movie?
I'm just saying that The Mummy kind of doesn't have some of those things. So, yeah, you know, it's fine.
Why does my water taste like quarters?
Yeah. And then the very last thing is I watched a Sci-Fi Channel original film from 2004 that stars Ryan Reynolds and Jake Gyllenhaal and Rebecca Ferguson called Life. I don't know if you guys have heard of this movie.
Venom movie?
Yeah,
Was Tom Hardy in it?
This is the worst movie I've seen this year.
Really?
This movie made me so angry so often that I was violently shouting at the television. So the first 20 minutes
Poor
of
Dan.
No, he kept coming in every now and then because he had already seen it. He saw it in theaters. And so he comes in. I'm about 10, 15 minutes in. And he's like, "Oh, you're watching Life?" And I was like, "Yeah. It's pretty good so far." He goes, "Yeah." And I just paused it, and so the little navigation bar was up, and he points about 20 minutes in, and goes, "I liked it up to about here." And I was like, "Okay, all right." And sure enough, like right about then is, you know, if you've seen the trailer, it's about I don't know, there's maybe 6 or 7 astronauts on the International Space Station. It's slightly in the future, you know, 10 years in the future, and they've gotten this satellite back from Mars, and it was damaged on the way back, and so they don't know why. And so it starts, and Ryan Reynolds has to catch it with a robot arm. And right then I was like, guys, this isn't how space works. This isn't what we do, guys. And they're like having this weird conversation as if to say like, oh, if you don't deflect it, like if you don't grab it, you better make sure you deflect it because it's going to crash on the Earth and kill people. And I'm like, okay, what is this movie? This is weird. And so, of course, Ryan Reynolds catches it with his robot arm or whatever. Big robot arm, giant robot arm. He's not like the Winter Soldier. And And of course he catches it, and that goes away, and now it's just astronauts talking in space, and I'm like, okay, this is cool. I'm back in. Like, that was a dumb beginning, and you don't understand how things collide in space, but whatever. And they end up like finding this tiny little amoeba on the ship that it caught it from space, and then like there's this sequence where they're talking about what they should do, and then everybody on Earth is celebrating the fact that they've discovered life in outer space. And
so there's a party done on Earth?
Yeah, oh yeah, like there's actually a scene where like some kids are on like, you know, Live with Regis and Kelly, and they're from like some school, and they were chosen to name the thing, and so they name it like Clifton or some shit. I don't remember.
Bodie McBoatface.
And so so they name it. Yeah, it's like Clifton or something. It's named after somebody famous. I can't remember, but Carlton. So they name it Carlton, and there's this one guy who's like, his job is to go in and basically poke it with his rubber glove and see what it does. And so there's a lot of scenes where they just go in and he pokes it with a rubber glove, and over time he sort of falls in love with Carlton, and he's like, oh man, guys, we can't hurt Carlton. And you're like, what the fuck is this? This is weird.
And this is why the amoebas attack us.
Yeah, so basically this amoeba doesn't grow anything like normal things, and then it gets bigger and bigger, and it turns into like a tiny little squid, and then like it grabs his hand and breaks his hand, like in a very Prometheus kind of way, but then when it crushes his hand, like he falls into a coma or some shit, and that doesn't make any sense. And at this point, like, Dan came in again, and I was like, this is getting real dumb. And he goes, huh, yeah, it's going to get a lot worse. And I was like, well, it can't be that bad. It's really bad. So this is a movie that exists. Like, I have to believe that the people making this don't know that Alien or the Thing exists, and also believe that if those things did exist, they would be better in complete daylight. Because nothing about this film is scary. Like, you end up basically they're getting terrorized by this octopus. It's about the size of a normal octopus. They keeps like escaping, but it escapes in ways that don't make any goddamn sense. Like, it'll escape into the fire extinguishers in the system, or in the space shuttle. Which, by the way, the International Space Station is built in segments, so like they don't have like a whole bunch of tubes that connect them. You know, so it's not like there's like little vents you can escape into and now you're anywhere in the space station. Like that, it doesn't work that way.
Fairly sure they were high and didn't care when they wrote it then.
It doesn't matter. These characters make continually the worst choices they can make in the most embarrassingly bad horror film kind of trope of like, there's literally a moment where a woman, she's outside, and the octopus has gotten onto her. Like, she goes outside, I think, to kill it, and she fails, obviously. So the octopus, like, crushes part of her suit and releases the coolant from her astronaut suit into her suit, so she starts drowning in coolant inside her helmet. Now, first of all, what coolant in an astronaut suit? For what are we cooling? Anyway, it doesn't matter. There's no coolant. And there's certainly not enough coolant to drown a human being. But so she's like drowning in her suit, and it's on her, and Jake Gyllenhaal's on a door, and also the door has to be opened from the inside and the outside at the same time, so he's trying to open the door, and she's actively trying to close it, and I'm like, this isn't how space doors work, but whatever. And she's like trying to close it to keep him from letting her back in, because she's like, no, I'm gonna die so that it doesn't get back in. But then she just dies right up next to it, so it crawls back onto the space station and gets back in. She doesn't take the opportunity to jump into outer space or anything. Like, no one does anything that makes any damn sense in this film.
She jumps
Meanwhile,
into outer space. Cowabunga!
It's the stupidest monster thingy. It's never cool and scary. It makes no sense from point to point. This is the only movie with astronauts in it that didn't even bother to cast someone to voice Houston. These people are in the International Space Station, and no one ever gives them directions from Earth. No one ever calls them as like, hey guys, it's Houston.
Is everything going all right?
Why don't you just eject that part of the space station and let it burn up in the sun? Because this is clearly bad. No, at one point Houston sends a whole nother space. Spoilers for a shit film. At one point, an ejection pod from a different space station apparently shows up and starts pushing the International Space Station into deep space, because that's like Houston's decision. They didn't call anybody and say anything. They were just like, hey guys, I know we spent like $4 billion on this thing, but can we just push it into the outer, like way out into space. Because clearly this thing's bad. It's just awful. Oh, I forgot to mention. So when the guy falls into the coma, right? Like Ryan Reynolds is like, I'm gonna save him. So he opens the door even though he shouldn't, and he jumps in there and he grabs the guy in the coma and throws him out the door. And then like before he can get out, the octopus like grabs onto his leg or something, and then he somehow he like gets it off. I may have this a little out of order, but like then they're like, oh, here, you got to kill it. And he's like, how do you guys suggest I kill it? One of them says, use the disintegration gun. I fucking kid you not. And he gets out a small...
Marvin the Martian?
Yeah, he gets out a small flamethrower and starts using a flamethrower inside of the International Space Station, and he's terrible at it. And people keep yelling like, hey, stop, because he's using a flamethrower inside the space station. Oh, but it looks... I mean, it effectively is a flamethrower, but it sounds like a ray gun from the future. Like, it's so terrible. This movie, like, especially about... Oh, so I didn't get... Here's the best part. Here's the part where 100% for sure this is a sci-fi movie, a Sci-Fi Channel original movie from 2004. So, at the end, spoilers for life, don't fucking waste your time with this piece of shit. I'm glad I only paid 99 cents. At the end, like, Jake Gyllenhaal and his wife Rebecca Ferguson are the only people left. And he's like, okay, we're going to distract it, and I'm going to be the bait, and you're going to get in the escape pod, and you're going to go down to Earth, and I'm going to get in the other escape pod, and I'm going to go way the fuck out into space, because this thing can never make it back to Earth. And you're like, okay. And they take off, but, like, the two escape pods are right next to each other, and one of them runs into, like, some debris out there in space, and then while he's in the one escape pod with the octopus thingy starts, like, attacking his hand and trying to take control of the joystick and shit, right? But he ends up drifting way off into space, and then Rebecca Ferguson, like, she re-enters the atmosphere and she lands, right? Except that the way they've cut it, they have misled you. So that when the Cambodian fishermen get over to rescue the Rebecca Ferguson out of her ship, they look through the window, and it's Jake Gyllenhaal! Because you were seeing, it was cut in see, when you saw the spaceship going into space, that was actually Rebecca Ferguson, and then you see Rebecca Ferguson screaming, and then it cuts to the credits where they play Bandstand in the Sky. Because it's a Sci-Fi Channel original film from 2004.
So where did their plan go wrong? Like, how did her trajectory send her into
She
space?
hit some debris, and she went into space, and
And his goal was to also go into space, but he still managed to go.
Her goal was to go to Earth, but she hit debris and went into space. His goal was to go into space, but the octopus got it on his hand and and it landed itself, because the whole thing is that it kept getting smarter. I mean, it did get smart enough to just fucking go get the disintegration gun and kill them all. This movie is awful.
Yeah.
I would rather watch Underworld Blood Wars again.
Speaking of what I watched this week, just kidding.
Just from the trailers, I was like, they've made this movie before, right?
And it sounds like we just heard a confirmation of that.
It's so frustratingly bad. At one point, I literally yelled, why did any of you sign up for this goddamn piece of shit? Like, it's embarrassing how stupid this film is. Yeah. It's actually insulting. Like, it's insulting to you as an audience member as you watch that film.
Between Alien Covenant and this movie, I just had no idea that our scientists were so stupid.
Oh, Alien Covenant is so much more interesting than this film.
The scientists are still dumb.
Yeah. Oh, but these scientists are not just dumb. Like, these scientists are dumber than dumb.
They're a special kind of dumb.
They're a special kind of dumb. Don't hurt him. It's so bad.
What did you watch, Ryan?
I just watched a few things. I watched the new DuckTales. It's really funny. You should check it out.
Oh, cool.
There's this. They go on this. Their first mission. Launchpad shows up, and Huey yells at him and says, "Fly this plane." He says, "Okay, kid, I just met who's really bossy." Things like that. It's really funny. And Launchpad's talking to him at the end of the mission. Like, "Wow, I'm really glad I'm part of the team." Oh, there's the ground, and he crashes the plane. It's funny. And I also watched the new Spider-Man cartoon on Disney XD, and it's really good.
What's it called?
It's just called Spider-Man.
Oh, okay.
They ditched the Ultimate Spider-Man, like Marvel team-up kind of thing, and they made it more traditional. The first few episodes, he's in basically a Spider-Man Homecoming outfit, homemade spider suit, and then
sure.
they integrate kind of new stories into his backstory and kind of make it like a new generation, like they do all the time. Spider-Man, it's fun. The guy who plays Spider-Man's really great. I watched Patriots Day, which is the Mark Wahlberg Boston Marathon bombing movie,
directed by Battleship's Peter Berg.
And Peter Berg. And,
I love Peter Berg.
Oh yeah, the movie's actually pretty good.
Cool. He's a good filmmaker.
Yeah, no, I think he's a pretty great filmmaker, and
Yeah.
he does really good. Watching this, and even whatever you think about Lone Survivor, he does create tension really well.
Yeah.
And he creates suspense and action really well.
Yeah.
And I mean, if you know the Boston Marathon bombing, it starts as the bombing and then it's the manhunt. And I mean, John Goodman's in it, Kevin Bacon. So it's, and Mark Wahlberg's kind of put front and center, but it's more of an ensemble piece.
Oh, okay.
Mark Wahlberg actually plays a fictional part of it where he kind of just, he's just like the everyday cop.
Is he like the biggest star in it? Like,
yeah,
he's the most bankable.
Well, I mean, yeah, I mean that's why I think he's front and center.
Yeah, okay.
He's probably there to be like the vessel for the audience.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So yeah, you're right. So he's.
Oh yeah, does he do a lot of like things happen and he goes, or that's terrible?
Yeah, he tries to. Like I say, he's like the common cop. Like he's just working there. He's put on light duty because he hurt his knee, and he just happens to be at the finish line when the bomb goes off, and so he's directing on what to do. And there's lots. It's actually a pretty cool movie.
Cool.
Actually couldn't stop laughing at this part. So if you know the story, the guys who detonated the bomb actually carjacked this Chinese kid who was in America. He's an exchange student, and was integral to like pointing out who they were and how they found him. And so they carjack him. They pull him to this gas station, and the Chinese student realizes there's an opportunity to leave, so he opens the door. He's like, "Fuck you, motherfuckers!" And he and I couldn't stop laughing for like 10 minutes. And so yeah, if you want to see a pretty good true life story, I think it suffered a lot like United 93 suffered.
Yeah,
where it came out I think 3 or 4 years after the bombing, and I think it's still kind of fresh.
Yeah,
but it doesn't take away from the pretty good filmmaking.
Would you feel like United 93 didn't suffer?
Oh no, I think United 3 is one. I love that film.
But it's what Ryan's saying is it's fresh enough that like I don't want to see it.
Yeah,
right. Like
exactly.
Would you say it's respectful?
Oh yeah.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah, I mean, they do.
I assumed so.
I mean, one of the victims was a poor little 8-year-old boy, and they kind of pay like a really nice respect to him. And I mean, John Goodman's great in it.
John Goodman's great.
Yeah, he's a great actor. I also watched. Actually, the last thing I watched was Ouija.
Ouija
or Ouija, however you want to pronounce it. The first one.
Oh, you mean Mattel's Ouija?
Hasbro's, yeah.
Hasbro's Ouija. Yes, right.
Ouija.
I wanted to because I know the second one was directed by the guy who did Mike Flanagan. I can't remember what he directed. Anyways, he's a pretty good horror director, and the first one I knew wasn't very good, but I heard the second one was really great. So I watched the first one because it came in like a 2-movie set, and it was just pretty bad. It suffers from the supernatural PG-13 things I hate, where it goes, oh, here's a jump scare. Oh, and here's this. The specters move like that jerky movement.
Yeah,
that's not scary to me. Whatever.
It's anxiety writing for me, but it's not scary.
Oculus, Hush, Before I Wake.
Yeah, Oculus and Hush. Hush is pretty good. It's on Netflix. It's about a lady who's deaf and she's being terrorized by a home invader. Definitely check out Hush. Yeah, so, I mean, whatever. It's a stupid PG-13 movie, and you get so...
Are we talking about the first one still, or
the
second
first one?
Okay,
I haven't seen the second one yet.
Okay. Yes.
So the
as
second...
someone who's seen it, I was like actually impressed that it's decent.
Yeah, I remember you saying that, so we'll see. You don't need to see it. This one's, like, it's dumb. Trying to be scary and not being scary is the worst thing in the world.
I find it weird that Hasbro owns the rights to Ouija board when the Ouija board is actually a construct that's been around for centuries.
Yeah, I think my kid's gonna fall asleep. It's late for him. I don't watch too much this week, but yeah, I see Patriots Day. The other stuff, no. This week on Real Nerds Podcast, we went and saw Mother. Brad, should people see Mother?
After they go around town.
Yeah.
Oh,
no one
yeah,
cares.
Brad,
what's going on town?
at the Esquire this weekend. They're doing Shaun of the Dead.
I carry that.
That's a pretty good choice. And then the drive-in, there is recycling Atomic Blonde, It, and Annabelle Creation.
Oh, that's actually not a bad lineup.
Yeah. So I haven't seen It yet, so I'm going to try and
nice.
drive
cool.
in that.
Yeah,
I'm worried that the projector's so dark. Is that a dark visually movie?
No, it's not actually. No. I mean, there's a few sections, but it's not.
I don't think it's going to hinder the experience.
Yeah.
And then the Emerging Filmmakers Project is Thursday. So
cool.
And the new screen and projector and sound system are up and running. So
cool.
It's gonna be way awesome.
Nice.
If you come out to the Bug and spend $5 to watch Emerging Filmmakers,
You could go watch It there.
eventually.
You know what's funny is right now, since you've got the red mic, the way you were holding your head, it looks like you have a clown
like I'm
nose.
Pennywise.
Yeah. I hate this.
Okay. Yeah, and then what did we see this week?
We saw Mother, Brad.
Mother.
Should people see Mother?
I'm so baffled. Like, for a lot of the movie, I was really super bored. And I had an interpretation of it that I liked as I was trying to figure out, like, why is this movie like this? And then I heard James's interpretation, and I'm pretty sure his is, like, spot on. So I immediately got way more disinterested in the movie.
Sorry.
So it's super weird. You have to have, like, a very specific kind of taste to like this movie. I don't think I'd ever want to watch it again. It's definitely creative. If what they're trying to go for is what James is going to say later in the podcast, like there's some very ambitious artsy stuff going on that I can appreciate. But at the end of the day, like I just didn't give a shit about any of it, so I'll never see it again.
Zach?
This movie. So I'm going to be very clear. I wasn't the biggest fan of this film, but I think you should go see it. My personal opinion was it would have been cheaper for me to break into a hotel room, steal a Bible, and smear it in blood.
Careful.
I don't know.
I don't think that's a spoiler.
Well, I also don't. Okay, James, should people see this movie?
Yeah. This movie's really tough because it's hard to talk about the movie without revealing what it is. I think the marketing for this movie is pretty terrible. So if you see the trailer and you go, that looks really interesting, you're probably not going to like the movie, or or at least that would be my expectation. I think this movie is really fascinating. I think it's saying something interesting. I like thinking about this movie. So it's kind of like, to me, this has like 10% of that Neon Demon effect, where like I think about it a lot, but I don't necessarily enjoy watching it. My biggest fear going into it was that it would be very much like Black Swan, where like very quickly I'm going to realize what you're doing, and then I'm just going to be annoyed because I just have to wait till you reveal that yes, that's what you're doing. This movie is similar in that 20 minutes in, I know what's happening, and then I'm like, okay, I'm just waiting for you to say that's what's happening. But I also think that some of what it's saying and some of what it's doing is kind of interesting and cool to think about. Mm-hmm. All of that is to say, I have no idea if you should see this movie. I mean, it's a very divisive film. I think you need to know going in that it's super artsy and weird, and that this movie is not just a straight-up psychological thriller. I would almost say that what's worth seeing... I would almost say that what you should do is listen to our review, which is going to be very spoilerish, and then go see it, because I don't know that the reveal is the reason to see this movie. I think that the performances, the way the story is told, and then sort of the argument the movie is making, it stands on its own, which is a very long answer to say, I don't know, because it's a weird-ass film. I'm super curious to find out, Ryan, whether or not you think people should see this movie.
I actually kind of enjoyed the film for the most part. What I will say is I like that you always were with Jennifer Lawrence's character.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
The camera never left her.
Yeah.
You were left in the dark. You were experiencing what she was experiencing.
Mm-hmm.
At the same time, I also think it's very interpreted very different ways. I don't believe it's actually the religious overtones in it. I have a different opinion about what happens in it, and I think that's why it's hard for me to tell people if they should see it or not.
Mhm.
I actually on Letterboxd I did give it 4 stars because I think the performances and what it's trying to say is very interesting.
Yeah.
A lot of films don't try to do it, and I think that's what I can always say about Darren Aronofsky is his films will always make you think. You might not agree with him, you might not like what he has to say, but you still are fascinated by what's happening.
That's why I say you should go see it.
Yeah,
because
and
you have to make up your mind.
I just don't know who I'm recommending.
Yeah, I don't
to.
know. I would never tell
That's the
my
thing.
mother to watch
Yeah.
this movie. I would never tell my father to.
I immediately spoiled everything for them and just explained the whole thing because I was like, "This is really interesting, and you will hate this movie."
I would like someone like my cousin Lisa. I say would go see it.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
because
That's a good
she
one.
likes it stuff like this. But I
You know that.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So
Right.
it's
Yeah,
You know her taste.
Exactly.
Like, the only person I would recommend this to is Henry.
Exactly. Who loved it?
Yeah.
Who loved it? Yeah.
And so when we get to this, the spoiler parts, I'll say why I don't believe it's the religious angle of it. Here's a trailer for Mother.
We're gonna fight.
We spend all our time here. I want to make a paradise.
She redid all of it, every last detail. And she breathed life back into every room.
Are you happy?
I love you. Please, come in. Hello.
Hello. He's a stranger. We're just gonna let him sleep in our house. Hello. Hello. Did you know he had a wife? He has pictures of you in his luggage.
What were you doing in their luggage?
What do they want? God help you.
They've come here to see me.
Come quick! You're insane! You're insane!
All I'm trying to do is bring life into this house. Open the door to new people, new ideas. I'm so sorry.
Get out of my house! You give and you give and you give. It's just never enough.
To be clear, though, I don't think that the religious angle is the only angle it's going for, because I also have an alternate title for this film, and it's called That Time I Married Darren Aronofsky.
James will, I'm sure, fight me with this. What I actually believe this is I think it's an artist trying to come up with an idea for everybody to like, and when he comes up with it, everybody likes it, and it's the isolation with people with him that don't share the joy that other people have for it. I don't know if that makes any sense. It's like
resentment,
and it's like to me, watching it, it's almost like not an autobiography for him, but how he feels being married to Rachel Weisz.
I was going to say,
I married Darren Aronofsky.
Yeah, exactly, because it's like, everybody wants me to do something great, but I don't have anything great to say right now.
Yeah.
Oh, I have something great to say. Here's the birth of my child, and all you guys are going to do is desecrate it and end up eating it and not appreciate what I just gave to this earth.
Yeah.
And that's how I interpret it. I can see the religious part behind it, because you get the creator, him.
Mm-hmm.
You get the mother. There's a scene where they have sex, and then the next moment she's pregnant. She knows it.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there's a little, and then it just goes to chaos.
By the way, if you're a pregnant lady, don't go to this movie.
Right.
Just don't do it.
No, I 100% agree with you.
Yeah.
Now, I also think that what you're saying is the movie is 100% laid on top of the the Genesis story.
Oh, no, I agree.
Structurally, that's exactly what it
I
is.
agree.
And I think that the straightforward version of the reason I like this movie more than Black Swan is actually sort of what you're saying, which is, yes, this movie on its face is a biblical allegory with environmentalists' leanings,
Agreed.
and that is a 100% a correct and legitimate reading of the film. But I think that there's also a layer of this, as somebody who, we talked about this, Zach and I talked about this for probably 20 minutes in the car on the way to see the movie. I'm a huge fan of The Fountain. And my reading of Darren Aronofsky is that he made The Fountain. It is his masterpiece. It is a brilliant film that even if you go back and read Roger Ebert's review at the time, Roger Ebert still misinterpreted that film. Like, he made this brilliant thing that it took us a decade to actually unpack and figure out, like, oh, this is what was really going on. And, and once you understand all the moving parts of The Fountain, like, you watch that movie and you're like, this is awesome. And I think Darren Aronofsky's films ever since have very much been him in a sort of sad, depressing way, reacting to the fact that he's either dumbing his films down for people, which is what I think Black Swan is. I think he's, and this is a movie where he's created this beautiful thing, and like you said, nobody appreciates it, and it ends up just being like, well, shit, I'm this guy sitting over here trying to do something great, and when I do, because there are interpretations of this film in which Javier Bardem and Jennifer Lawrence are actually two sides of the same person, which I think is, again, a very, like, that. About 15 minutes in, I was like, oh, they are both God. Like, one of them was this sort of wrathful but creative side of God, and one of them is this sort of merciful. And then that, obviously, as it goes places, I was like, oh, okay, so it's really this. But anyway, I think that there is a very bitter side of that where he is kind of saying, like, man, like, this is sort of what creation is like. And I do this, and most of the time when I create shit, it doesn't work. But I also think I would be remiss to just sort of look at the end of this film and think that he's just saying that everything is cyclical and you just keep creating shit and it keeps being terrible. I think he's actually being a little bit optimistic in that, you at the end still get another chance to do it again, and maybe this time you do it right. I don't think he's necessarily stuck in this grind, but 100%. I mean, by the time Michelle Pfeiffer showed up, I was like, oh, this is what you're doing. And it's completely colored by the fact that this is the guy who made Noah, and he likes Genesis stories, and he likes making them weird. But like, so many of the little, like, so much of the imagery, so much of the parts of this film are very deliberately based on that sort of structure. But I think that reading is really relevant because some of what he's saying is a very damning criticism. I mean, if you read it that way, what he's saying is God is kind of an asshole for creating the earth and then ruining it with mankind. Like, what a dickhole. And that's a really interesting, fascinating thing to sort of think about and ruminate on, and
I agree with you with a little twist of, like, I don't think he's necessarily condemning God. He's condemning his followers.
No, I
feel like he's both
is true because Javier Bardem is disrespectful to her, and he is a completely entitled egotist.
He's doesn't even recognize her needs,
right?
And I think it's more, if you're going to read into it and the religious, I think it's more of it's what James just said. It's God is kind of a jerk, and if he's going to make these people in his image and they're not perfect,
then that part I'm thinking more toward the end, because he does try to restart it again and try to do it again. I wonder if you can read it in the way of, like, well, maybe he's just trying to get it right for all concerned. So it's not redeeming, but
it's
it's such a hard film to
is, and I think that's why it's so divisive amongst people and why people don't like it, is because while
I forces them to think about things.
Well, I appreciate it because you are stuck with Jennifer Lawrence's character.
Mm-hmm.
You don't know what's going on, and there's that part where all those people are just like, "Why aren't you listening to me? Leave!" And because you don't know either.
Right.
And I think people can't. A lot of times in movies, people need stuff laid out for him.
Mhm.
This is what's happening. This is what's happening. But when you're with a character and you don't see what happens when he goes hiking with Ed Harris's character, or you know, he writes this poem that you never read.
Yeah.
And you say it's great, and then people randomly show up and want to shower him with love, and she is a vessel of, you know, like, why do they want to see the baby? Like, why? What could they possibly want with my child?
Right.
And he is so arrogant that he just waits for her to fall asleep, and he takes it anyways and says, "This is what I made too," and people mistreat it and devour it, and it's really interesting.
And eat it.
And yeah, I mean, I think part of what's great about that, I hadn't even thought about this yet until you said that you know, because we're always on her side. There's also this very hopeful side of this where, you know, if you do look at it in that first level of interpretation, you know, some people are going to take this as being like this terrible statement about, like, you know, we're destroying the earth and how awful everything is and all of that. But, you know, if we're in the newest version of that creation, right? Like, I think it should be more convicting to say, like, hey, this was our first job, was to take care of this thing, and maybe we should be doing a better job, and maybe we still have that chance. You know, you're right. Like, the fact that we never get Javier Bardem's side of the story, there could be beautiful moments, and there could be so many great reasons for all of these things that she just doesn't see from her perspective that are so much bigger than her. And there could be this opportunity there that she just doesn't see, that he's striving to figure out how to fix, right? That he's trying to find a version of the world where Ed Harris is a good guy.
And I feel
where
like
he can redeem Ed Harris.
I feel like if you were to go from that perspective, that would be an even harder film to write.
Oh,
yeah. It's a difficult film.
Like,
I mean,
this is already difficult.
Yeah.
And imagine trying to do it from Javier Bardem's side. That would be like...
Right.
Brad, haven't heard from you.
You guys are talking so much.
Sorry.
About better interpretations than I like. Before James said anything, I just took the movie as a struggling artist who has, like, writer's block, and his muse, Jennifer Lawrence, is no longer providing that inspiration anymore, and so he's struggling with that. Which makes me think, like, oh, this is Aronofsky, and then, like, I forgot until now that he was married to Rachel Weisz. And I don't know if he's, like, since remarried or anything.
He's dating Jennifer Lawrence.
There's a lot of dark shit in how you interpret this movie.
So, like, I felt like this movie was like him trying to work through something of, like, you know, I did well with Black Swan, don't know what to do next, and my muse is gone. So what do I do? And as, like, a fellow artist, like, trying to create, like, I get that feeling.
Actually, that's how I interpreted it too.
Yeah. And so, and then also, like, I don't think I'll ever be in this situation, but, like, my idea of someone who is an artist that has a rise and gets to a certain level of attention and fame and doesn't know how to handle it. So, like, yeah, he neglects his wife and child, and also, like, his other child is his art, and having to share those two worlds. You know, to like, sometimes the baby is the new art, and when it, like you said, it gets torn apart by the audience, and the fans who just, like, crush over him.
And it's a different kind of art than
and
I
then
expect.
and then
Yeah.
I mean, they blame her for it. It's not the artist's fault.
Yeah,
It's
the fans turn on the wife,
the
or the
wife,
girlfriend,
or
yeah.
whoever it is.
Yeah.
And you know that, I mean,
Fucking
that's
film nerds.
No, that's now that's a tough scene to watch, and because I mean, I
again, if you're pregnant,
yeah,
don't
I mean,
fucking
'cause-
go.
I don't know.
Yeah, it's.
I heard that neck crack, and I fucking straight up cringed. I wasn't scared. I just cringed.
In our audience.
Oh yeah, it's a shocking moment, and you know, even the point. I mean, she's getting beat up and, like, accosted.
Oh yeah,
you know, and it's not fun. And you know, I had someone tell me, it's like, oh, you see Jennifer Lawrence naked. I'm like, yeah, it's not good. it's not like she's sitting there, like, sitting on an edge of a bathtub. And
I may have made that joke. Ryan's gonna like this one.
No, I mean, I know I kid about, you know,
I
boobs
know.
and stuff, but the stuff like that is.
Oh no, it's terrible.
Yeah,
it's one of the, like, it's so brutal.
Yeah, and it's one of those things where
that by the end you want her to do what she does.
Exactly.
You're like, burn this motherfucker down,
burn it to the ground.
Like, fuck this
because
guy.
whatever he created isn't working.
Right.
Because you are receiving the brunt of people not liking what you did. It can be interpreted so many ways, but
Yeah.
I don't think your interpretation is wrong at all, Brad.
Yeah,
No.
I think they can share the same space. Like,
Yeah.
like that
Absolutely.
idea is fascinating to me. and then pairing it with like James's interpretation is great. I just feel like in the execution of it, it's like this thing like I don't feel compelled to like watch more than that.
No, I don't.
Like,
I don't think you need.
Like I'm going to take the idea home and live with it forever.
Yes, and that's the thing is, it's not like a fun movie you watch a bunch. It's like a thing you see once and you go, huh? Because the reason that the two work is that the biblical interpretation works and that structure works because the artist is God, right? Like that. It's very simple. And it adds a lot of layers to it. Like, you want something. The reason why Black Swan sucks is because there's one reading of that film, and you know it 20 minutes in because you've ever been to a high school English class. Like, whereas this film, there are multiple layers to how you read it, and there's all these little gems and all these just dirty things that either make the interpretation rough or that don't give you a hero. Like, you don't have... She may not be right, you know? Like... It's just rough, and thinking about that is the fun part, right? Like getting to expand your mind in these new ideas is what's cool, but it's not a movie you like. That's why it's hard to recommend. It's like, yeah, you maybe see it once, you know.
I really feel like you should go watch it because at the end of the day, make up your own mind. But I'm amazed that Paramount put this out.
Yeah,
and the marketing is so
fucking
confusing.
astounded.
Oh, the marketing is
because like there's one where
that's not what I'm talking about. It's the fact that they even put it out and that they put it out in 2,000 theaters.
Yeah,
it doesn't matter that it has Jennifer Lawrence in it.
No, that is strange too. I'm just saying like I was confused by the marketing because like there's one poster that, like her head is like around the house. So I'm like going to
the Rosemary's
thinking,
Baby one, yeah.
Like, oh, this is a scenario inside Jennifer Lawrence's head that she's playing out, and then there's like another one where she's a porcelain doll with her heart ripped out. I'm just like, okay, she's losing something, like, or like she's not a real like thing.
It's probably because they didn't know how to market
fragile.
it either.
Yeah,
yeah. So like, they just threw a bunch of like random image shit out.
Those ones at least work because the stuff around the outside, like all the other imagery in that poster, is all naturey stuff, and she looks very, very pristine.
Mother
and there's
nature.
there's a pairing that goes with it that is Javier Bardem, like sitting in a chair and he's surrounded by fire and his hand is out. He's got like a little globe in one hand and then his hand is reaching out. So if you put them next to each other, it's basically her handing her heart to him. And so then that at least sort of gives you a visual imagery of the movie, but it doesn't tell you what it is. It could be a romantic comedy.
It's not enough to tell Bob from across the street who doesn't really watch many movies,
right?
Hey, go watch Mother, because you'll have a gay old time there.
It puts like preconceived notions in my head when I'm just waiting for things that aren't going to happen. I'm like, why hasn't it gotten to the horror part yet? Or like, you know, when do we find out she's a porcelain doll? You know, like
I didn't feel from the trailer we were getting a horror movie. I thought we were getting. I thought from the trailer we were getting like a weird homage to Rosemary's Baby, which was tied in with the idea of the poster, but. Obviously, it's not what happened, but there are shades of Rosemary's Baby in terms of the visual language.
Oh, but the one trailer that we saw before it was like, "You'll never forget where you were when you saw
that trailer." I've reevaluated it.
Yeah,
I'm glad they did it that way because that was the only way they were going to build up any form of hype. Because the first trailer doesn't do shit.
Oh yeah, it's very bizarre.
And that one, obviously, it sold Ryan.
Yeah, yeah. No, I think just because it's interesting.
Yeah,
I mean the trailer's interesting,
and I appreciate that they build up the controversy. Like it's from an outside looking in on the production and the story and everything as a whole, along with the marketing and whatnot. This is like a big ass gamble that obviously didn't pay off if we look at the box office receipts, but like the fact that Paramount put it out. Like I mean, you got to just read the statement that Paramount's chief distributor put out today about like this is us trying to compete with Netflix at this point, and I'm like, okay, cool, keep doing it more often, and maybe try some other stories too. Don't give me Monster Trucks 2. I don't want it.
And don't like I didn't even know it was a movie until like 2 weeks ago.
I know. Yeah. I think it was supposed to be released in November.
I see a lot of movies you think I know is coming.
Yeah,
out.
right.
Came out of nowhere.
It's very bizarre. Say your thing about the reason I hit you before was because he was talking about the whole interpretation of him and his wife, and there's the lady at the beginning who's in fire.
Oh, so does anybody think that the lady at the beginning kind of looks like Rachel Weisz?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now I think about it, yeah. But by the end, I was like, oh, maybe because
it may be a really good double. or something like
or
that.
just be a young woman who just.
By the end, I thought it was Jennifer Lawrence again, but at the beginning, like of the movie, I was like, it's like some brunette chick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know.
The Mummy, starring Brendan Fraser, and some brunette chick.
Next week on Real Nerds, we might have a guest.
Cool.
We're seeing Kingsman: The Gold Circle.
Mm-hmm.
Should be fun.
Yeah.
This one should be easy to understand, I think.
What? What is the name of that production studio?
Which one?
The one
Marv.
Marv. Okay, God. Because it's a colorblind image, so
Yeah,
I can't read it.
Oh,
So-
that must suck.
Yeah.
Us normals who can read color. Yeah.
Colors rule, man.
You can read color.
So great to have like,
Working eyes.
yeah, dense optics. I don't know.
Yep.
Yep. Till
God
next
loves
week.
us.
Bye.
Bye.
Real Nerds Podcast is a Nebulous Visions multimedia production. The Real Nerds would like to thank the Alamo Draft House in Littleton and now open in Sloan's Lake. We also would like to thank Colorado Coins, Cards, and Comics, especially Andrew. Our music has been brought to you by Sparks Mandrill and Plan 9 Studios. And of course, thanks to James's mother, our most loyal listener. Have a nice day. Real Nerds Podcast is a partner of Denver Podcast Network in the shadow of the mountain.
We speak.